Zelda has been around for over 35 years. Originally debuting on the Nintendo Entertainment System in Japan in 1986, it launches a bold and large take on the adventure genre, perfectly encapsulating what it meant to go on such large-scale quests. You tackled dungeons, you got heart containers to grow stronger, and you found many of the now iconic weapons still found in the series today. Shout out to our last video over the underutilized items of the Zelda series. Go check that video out after you finish this video. All this is to say that Legend of Zelda 1 laid the blueprint for how to do a perfect Zelda game. All the team had to do was update the graphics and the game design with each installment, and boom! You've got a legendary franchise on your hands. Just look at sequels like Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time that are revered as some of the greatest games not only on their respective consoles, but of all time. So with all that said, what could go wrong over the course of that 35 plus years? Well, as you'll see today, a lot. We're looking at the times Zelda releases didn't quite hit the mark. Here we go, guys. Today we're tackling the most controversial Zelda titles. Starting us off at number 5 is Breath of the Wild. And honestly, I feel like this game has been retroactively controversial. Sure, there was a lot of excitement and suspense building up to its release, and I think that was aided due to Nintendo launching a new console at the time, the Nintendo Switch. Development took 5 years following the release of Skyward Sword on the Wii. Breath of the Wild was originally designed for the Wii U and was going to be its last major release. However, as we discussed, it also came out as a launch title for the Switch. So it was a swan song for one console, but a triumphant birth for another. Still, Breath of the Wild was touted as breaking away from the traditional Zelda formula. It was open world and non-linear, almost harkening back to the days of the original Zelda on NES. The Switch was also reported to be returning to cartridges over the much preferred Blu-ray disc. Gamers were happy, free, confused, and lonely at the same time. Breath of the Wild was a breath of fresh air to many Wii U and Switch owners. It spawned its own sub-genre of games, trying to rip it off or at least take heavy influence from it. Tears of the Kingdom would drop as a sequel almost a decade later, with the Zelda team saying this was essentially the new Zelda formula. It left many players reminiscing about the old Zelda, and players got fatigued with the new style. Even though Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are both critically acclaimed, I think old school players are scared that the days of Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time are simply dead. Number 4, Majora's Mask. This one's going to be a mixed bag. You're going to follow up one of, if not the greatest games of all time. That's a tough one for any game to do. I actually respect the heck out of what the team tried to accomplish and what they created, but Majora's Mask just isn't for me. I don't like the gloomy overtones, the 3-day cycle, the design philosophy of the game in general. Now, that's also what makes it stand out. You either really love this game or you just don't care for it, and it's wedged between Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time on one side and Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on the other side. It definitely stands out with the design choice and all the masks having their own abilities. But to me, the hilarious part is that Majora's Mask got a remake on 3DS, and I really enjoyed it. In my opinion, it fixes a lot of what I don't like about the N64 version. A lot of that does have to do with the handbook aiding in the side quest, as well as the ability to save being a whole lot easier now. Not to mention on the 3DS, you can just close the system. Yet, a lot of the N64 truthers don't like the remake, meaning one way or the other, you probably really enjoy one version of this game and have disdain for the other, which is pretty interesting and in my opinion, adds it firmly on the list of controversial releases. Now remember, if you're liking this list, subscribe for more top 5 and discussions, and leave video ideas in the comments for videos you'd like to see in the future. Number 3, Skyward Sword. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I've never met another Zelda fan who says Skyward Sword is their favorite Zelda game. In my opinion, being stuck on the Wii just didn't help it. It was locked behind motion controls. I remember popping this bad boy in back in the day, only to be denied access to playing it by the Wii itself, because I didn't have the Motion Plus feature in my Wiimotes. I eventually played it on the Switch, and honestly guys, I enjoy it a lot on the Switch. I've never played the Wii version, but it does feel like more people complain than praise it. The Switch version is pretty good if you can find a copy. It's worth noting this is the last of the traditional Formula Zelda games, and as a result, I think in time this game might develop a cult following. Alright, coming in at number 2 is Zelda 2, Link's Adventures. Zelda 2 struggles from being a Zelda game. Almost anybody's argument who defends the game starts with, well, if this wasn't a Zelda game, people would love it. Maybe, but that's part of what lands you on a list as controversial Zelda releases, and this high at that. On one hand, Zelda wasn't exactly an established property at this point. Zelda had only been out for about a year or so by the time we got the sequel, Link's Adventures. But it did bring back exploration, dungeons, and sword-based combat. A lot of familiarity tropes are here. However, what really lands it on this list, the gameplay is now side-scrolling. It was a RPG now, and the overworld is just weird. I mean, you use experience to level up. Very different than anything we've seen before or since, really. There's no way you played this and then this and was excited about it. Talk about breaking away from the Zelda formula, am I right? Honestly, if Zelda had been a more established IP at this point and they did something as wild as Zelda 2, this might have got put at number 1. As it stands, there's one Zelda game that's released was more perplexing, disappointing, and controversial than all the rest. And that game was... Real quick, before we reveal number 1, be on the lookout for polls. That's right, guys, I ask polls about future top 5s and video topics, and a whole host of things that you guys can actually help sway either where items or power-ups fall in these videos, or video topics in general that we cover. So, guys, make sure you're subscribed and be on the lookout for polls so that you can have a say in the channel. Now, on to number 1. That's right, it's Wind Waker. Majora's Mask may have had a hard time following up Ocarina of Time, but Wind Waker is the red-headed stepchild of Zelda games. The tone on the N64 was dark, gritty, and mature, whether you're looking at Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, really. So, that begs the question, what the heck is this? Wind Waker changed the tone up completely, dropping dark color palettes for bright, vibrant beach aesthetics, large sprawling fields conquered by horseback now replaced by never-ending, overbearing sea traversal. Not to mention, it has got to be one of the weirder looks for Ganon. Now, it's worth noting Wind Waker came out in a time in my life where I didn't mind the art style. I was just a kid when Wind Waker came out. However, in hindsight, I can really see people feeling bamboozled, especially after the now infamous GameCube trailer. Nintendo was finally embracing disc-based formats. People were beyond thrilled to see what the Zelda team would cook up for the new hardware, and the tech demo gave every fan's hope that they were getting the next epic in the Zelda franchise. This is to say nothing of people's theories of cut content and empty space in Wind Waker. This entry has everything to do with the tonal shift and misdirection of the tech demo. That alone has Wind Waker firmly in the lead for the most controversial entry in the series. What's that? Oh, I forgot a game? Oh. Those games. Okay, guys, you ever make a top 5, you write out your script, you plan the whole video, and then you completely forget that a game existed? That's right, we're adding a new number 1, and boy howdy, it's a doozy. Mostly because it's a threefer. Zelda on CDI.
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
My boy.
I just wonder what Ganon's up to.
Only Link can defeat Ganon.
Great, I'll grab my stuff. How about a kiss, for luck?
You've got to be kidding.
I've convinced myself that Philips CDI is a fever dream. I mean, just look at these graphics. That's probably why I tried to suppress these games. Yeah, somebody cooked these games up, and God bless them. Zelda got a grand spanking 3 shots on the CDI, featuring questionable cutscenes, a return to 2D side-scrolling graphics, and lacking any Nintendo quality. These jokers have got to be the most notorious Nintendo games ever. I won't bother recapping Nintendo's fallout with Sony and the disastrous relationship with Philips. Yes, it is truly one of the most industry-changing of all time. And all we have to show for it is this.
Lucky shot! Golly!
Okay, so now that's officially the list. I'm sure a lot of you guys either completely forgot the CDI games existed or fully expected them to be number 1. It kind of feels weird talking about them. I'm pretty sure most people, when they do their rankings for Zelda videos, probably don't even really mention them. And I can honestly say I've never played them. I've never seen them in the wild. My only real knowledge of them is through YouTube videos. So I'm not really one to speak on them, but I'm pretty sure we can all unanimously agree if we're talking controversial Zelda, it's gotta be the CDI releases, right? I mean, Wind Waker would probably get it for like the main, can we call it canon series? I don't know. You know, Wind Waker, just the tonal shift, again, the tech demo, I think, is really what solidified it and what caused the outrage to get something like Twilight Princess, a return to more dark and gritty. You know, I think Twilight Princess can kind of be a mixed bag as well, but I think if you were one of those people that felt jaded by Wind Waker, you were probably thrilled to have Twilight Princess. I actually think they're a very interesting juxtaposition on the GameCube's library is Wind Waker or Twilight Princess, and honestly, I prefer both of the Wii U releases as opposed to the GameCube releases, but there's no doubt I logged my fair share of time into the GameCube Zelda games. But even I can't deny Wind Waker, just the historic nature of going from Majora's Mask, 3-day cycle, the world is falling, not the world, the moon is falling, the world is ending, you get to see these people's last days, and then the tech demo, it's like, okay, Wind Waker, okay, sure, yeah, okay, whatever. So let me know, guys, in your opinion, what are the most controversial Zelda releases? We didn't really touch on handhelds, but then again, I don't really think the handheld games are very controversial. I think they're mostly good. I don't know, is Oracle of Ages and Seasons worth talking about? Were people upset with the 2 release model like Pokemon? I don't know. You guys will have to let me know what you think down below. But alright guys, that's going to do it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. But this video popped into my head where Jessica and I she said, explain to me the Zelda timeline. Like, where is Breath of the Wild in this, and Skyward Sword, and all of this? Because she didn't grow up playing Zelda games. Zelda's a franchise that she's kind of discovered through me. So she was like, explain this to me. So I pulled up, it might have been this website, it might not have. I pulled up the timeline. Pardon me for a second. I pulled up the Zelda timeline and I started reading it to her. Okay, so you'll notice that there are 3 timelines. There's the adult Link, child Link, and the fallen hero. Now, I'm not going to sit here and read every single article. If you want, you can go to zelda.gamepedia.com/Zelda timeline, and you can view it for yourself. But essentially, I was watching the Switch just turned 4 years old, and a lot of people were talking about what last year meant for the console, which was the Mario 35th anniversary, and what this year would entail for the Switch, which a lot of people point to Zelda 35th anniversary. And that got me thinking, oh my gosh, what if they do it this way? Okay, now this isn't the video where I talk about the most realistic outcomes for the 35th anniversary. This isn't that video. This is an idea that Nintendo would probably never do, and I will address that in the video, okay? But for starters, and I'll give you 2 reasons why it won't work, but what if for the 35th anniversary, for like a All-Stars, a collection of video games, they did the adult Link timeline, okay? So let's come up here. It starts actually with the Fallen Hero timeline. So this is Link Dies, right? And that sets us up for a Link to the Past. So this would be your collection. You'd get Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, A Link Between Worlds, Triforce Heroes, Legend of Zelda 1, and Legend of Zelda 2. Not a bad set. Not a bad set. It may be the weakest, but it's still not a bad set. Then you would have the Child timeline. Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Four Swords Adventures. Yes, it's only 3 games, but I think a lot of people would go to bat for Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess. I haven't played Four Swords Adventures much, so maybe people would go to bat for that too. I don't know. And then lastly is the adult timeline, which would give us Wind Waker, Phantom's Hourglass, Spirit Tracks. A lot of people would probably say this is the weakest, but Wind Waker is great. And I think I've played Phantom's Hourglass. It's pretty good. I haven't beat it or anything, but I got it when it came out. Played it a good bit. Never beat it, but I did like it. Okay. Now, again, I'm not going to read all these paragraphs or anything like that. There are some inherent flaws with some of these bundles. Okay, I understand that. Triforce Heroes, they could probably easily fix the 3-player dynamic to work on the Switch. Four Swords Adventures, I'm not exactly sure. They could probably just set that up to be locally 4 players, where you don't need all like the Game Boy connectivity and stuff like that. Spirit Tracks and the other DS one, Phantom's Hourglass, they could probably rework that to work. I don't know how stylus dependent or touchscreen dependent that was. I get it. Those are potentially flaws, but they brought Wonderful 101. They brought some other touchpad or gamepad dependent games to the Switch. So I think they can make each of these bundles work. So I'm not going to count that as a major flaw. But these are some flaws, okay? The first is, what if they only want to include games that haven't been remade? Ocarina of Time has been remade for the 3DS. Majora's Mask has been remade for the 3DS. Wind Waker has been remade for the Wii U. Twilight Princess has been remade for the Wii U. Now, those are going to be the only remakes I talk about. I'm not going to talk about ports. I'm not going to talk about like the Zelda collection on the GameCube, or how Zelda 1 and 2 got ported to the Game Boy Advance. I'm not going to talk about those. So maybe they want to give some time in the sun to games that haven't been remade. I don't think that's the case, because I think the 4 games most likely to be brought over are, not counting Skyward Sword, of course, is Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker. Hello, those are the 4 games that have already been remade, so to speak. So, I don't think they're going to use that logic. Now, the second, and this may be, the more glaring, is would they do a 4th bundle for before the timeline split? So in that case, you would get Skyward Sword, Minish Cap, Four Swords, and Ocarina of Time. Now, here is potentially the biggest flaw with this system, is Skyward Sword is getting its own release. If they did, when they announced Skyward Sword, if they included it in a bundle with the Minish Cap, Four Swords, and Ocarina of Time, then obviously this idea would have a whole lot of credence to it. But since they just released Skyward Sword on their own, That's kind of a big flaw in the system. Now, they could release Minish Cap, Four Swords, and Ocarina of Time and tell you to just go buy Skyward Sword and call this the... What would they even call that? The Hero of Time bundle, I guess. But, yeah, this is part of a big flaw with the system, is that there are 4 games before the timeline even splits. Skyward Sword, Minish Cap, Four Swords, and Ocarina of Time. That's a pretty big... They'd have to do something about this. Now, what I consider the biggest flaw, the reason they wouldn't do this, is this would only appeal to hardcore fans. Everyone else would wonder, what the heck? Because, again, this isn't the video where I talk about what I think they'll do, but if they remake Ocarina of Time, it is almost assuredly going to be with Majora's Mask or Twilight Princess. That doesn't exist in this setup of doing it. You know what I mean? So, I think this is a great idea. It would help people visualize the timeline. They could say, oh, this is before the timeline split. Oh, this is the Fallen Hero timeline split. Oh, okay, now I have a visual reference. But I just think the general audience who's playing Zelda, they don't care. It's probably like a very small minority of us who really care about, the timeline and where everything falls in place and yada, 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 yada. Now, another flaw. Now, again, remember, I preface this with, this is something Nintendo most likely will not do, but it is very cool. The other biggest flaw here is that with Breath of the Wild, the director pretty much came out and said, yeah, every Zelda game before this is a myth. And where those myths were heroes and legends, the line blurs. We don't know which links are real and which ones are myths. So with that in mind, they've already come out and said, the Zelda timelines are open for interpretation. We don't want to fit ourselves into a hole. We'd like to have it as flexible as possible. That way we can revisit the timeline as much as we want. And we don't be like, oh man, how does this fit into the timeline? So by doing this, they would be acknowledging the timeline, which they have done, of course, but now they've kind of almost about-faced and said, well, the timeline's a thing, but we don't want to lock ourselves into it. And by doing this, they would be locking themselves into the timeline. So I just think there's too many things holding this back. Now, yes, us Zelda lovers would be like, that's so cool. That's so cool. But the rest of us would probably be like, I don't get it. Skyward Sword is the second newest game. Why am I playing that one first? And then Minish Cap? What? I've never even heard of Minish. You know what I mean? That's how they would be. So, at the end of the day, I think they will maybe it'll come down to marketing. Maybe it'll come down to crunching numbers. But I do think they'll if they even do a collection, I think they'll just probably look at what sells best and go with that. Or they'll pick games that need to be remade. But I think you'll see something like Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages done digitally only brought, or something like Link's Awakening. I don't think it'll... Well, no, that's inaccurate. I think they'll just bring them or something. I don't really think it'll be like a big collection, so to speak. Almost like how they brought Red, Blue, and Yellow to the DS store. I think maybe they'll just do something like that. Yeah, I think this would be great, but I just gave 4 or 5 reasons for why Nintendo will probably never do this. So really all I'm going to ask you guys isn't, do you think they'll do this? Because I don't think they will, quite frankly. Do you think they're going to do a collection, or do you think Skyward Sword and potentially Breath of the Wild 2 is all we're getting this year? Not that we would have anything to complain about if that was the case. Or do you think they're going to do a bundle? And if you do, what are they gonna do? And if they did do something like this, is that an idea you like, or are you of the mindset of, what, this is too confusing? I don't get this. A timeline splits into 3. What are we talking about? Where do you fall in the spectrum? Not yes or no, you think this is going to happen. Because I'm the one making this video, and I don't even think it's going to happen. So that's going to do it for me. Like I said, I'll probably try to make a video over what I actually think they'll do. We've got video game pickups. We've got a couple of different videos we need to get out, so I'm going to get to it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you in the next one. With Echoes of Wisdom coming out this week as of the recording of this video, many new Zelda fans may think this is the first time you get to play as the franchise's titular character Zelda, but that is actually not the case. Zelda has appeared as a playable character in the main series as far back as the 90s and has had playable roles in several spin-offs and side series. Let's break it down.
Come on, let's go fight Ganon's evil legions. I'll show you how.
The CDI is where our story begins, with the Wand of Gamelon. Wand of Gamelon took inspiration from Link's Adventure. It was a side-scrolling adventure game. It is remembered now for its over-the-top cutscenes, horrible graphics, terrible dialogue, questionable controls, and its gameplay. But, oddly enough, the fact that it's the first game in which you can play as Zelda, I just find that to be pretty neat. And I guess those guys took notes. They scrapped most things from the Wand of Gamelon, but notably kept one thing the same when designing its sequel. And that's playing as Zelda. See, the Philips CDI gave us 2 playable Zelda games. The first was Wand of Gamelot, the second is Zelda's Adventure. We replaced the side-scrolling direction of the first CDI games with a top-down view more akin to Zelda 1 on the NES. And that's probably where the good things end here for Zelda's Adventure. But hey, I bet you never thought you'd find a video with 2 good things to say about Zelda's Adventure, huh? Surely that's worth a sub, right? It would take a while for Zelda to return as a playable character. The game in question is Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. This entry is going to be a little different than almost any other game we talk about today because she's not the protagonist this time around. You still play as Link for the most part. However, Spirit Tracks has specifically designed sections where you can play as Zelda, and I just find that to be actually pretty cool. I think it's neat that Zelda is the companion in this game, like Navi and Midna before her. So many times Zelda was just a voice or a face. It's just cool to see her have more of a role even if she's not the protagonist. So that brings us to the latest Zelda game, Echoes of Wisdom. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is the first Zelda game since Zelda's Adventure to star Zelda as the main character. Link is captured and it's now all up to Zelda to save Hyrule and Link. How will this game be remembered? Only time will tell. So, while that's the last Zelda game to star Zelda, there's a couple of spin-offs in other games that feature Zelda as a playable character. For starters, Hyrule Warriors. Hyrule Warriors released on the Wii U and is a hack-and-slash adventure game set in the Zelda universe. Hyrule Warriors would get a sequel on Switch with Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Players could once again play as Zelda using a wide variety of attacks to vanquish hordes of enemies. Zelda would finally peer outside of the Zelda universe with Super Smash Bros. And while she missed out on the debut of Smash Bros. On N64, she would be a playable character when Smash moved to the GameCube with Melee. She has been a playable character in every Smash Bros. Game since then. Zelda would have one more outing in Cadence of Hyrule. This is a truly unique rhythm-based roguelike game combining several genres and playstyles with the character and worlds of the Zelda universe. Players could choose to play as Zelda, making it rather unique in that way as well. So there you have it, guys.
all the games in which you can play as Zelda. Let me know down below, did I miss any games? And of the games we talked about today, which one is your favorite? Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Alright everybody, we are back with the next Legend of Zelda 35th anniversary video, mostly because I really like Zelda. I'm really hyped for this. I was really hyped for the Super Mario 35th anniversary. I did a couple of videos about that. Learned a lot about Nintendo and these anniversaries. I won't be diving into all of that in this video. Maybe that's an idea for a separate video, what we learned about Nintendo. But either way, I pulled up a website because I've been watching a lot of videos, I've been doing a lot of reading. I actually think this is a pretty good list. I didn't fully read every entry. I skimmed the article. I really liked, it's like a top 10 list. I really like their entries. I think it's kind of the community's opinion also from what I've read, the videos that I've seen. I think a lot of people are almost completely in line with this top 10 list. And when you hear my thoughts, it's not going to be too different from this. So this is just kind of a visual reference for everybody at home. If you don't know, I believe in February, Zelda celebrated its 35th anniversary. Now, why is that so important? Because I think that's a weird number, right? But Mario recently celebrated its 35th anniversary. I think it just so happened to be doing that on a successful console. I don't remember if they did anything for the 30th anniversary because that was on the Wii U and the 3DS. The 3DS obviously was popular, the Wii U was not, so maybe they didn't go all out. I don't really remember. But now they're on the Switch, the system that's selling like hotcakes. We're now at the next 5-year marker. So let's celebrate the 35th anniversary. Now, with Mario, we got the 35th anniversary 3D All-Stars, pretty much, which came with Mario 64, almost basic vanilla, basically. It was like, what, an emulation of the game. Then we got a touch-up of Sunshine and Galaxy, which personally I love. I'm not super complaining. The $60 price tag was a little rough, but hey, transportation, or, you know, the portability, I should say, the updated graphics, and you're getting 3 great games. Like, because of COVID, Sunshine was like, what, $100 by itself at some point. So to get all 3 games for $60, you know. So we kind of, when the rumor started speculating on those 3 games, everyone was like, well, Zelda's next year, 35th anniversary of Zelda, let's go. What are they going to do? And as we go through this list, we're literally going to see that the top 3 things have almost come to fruition. Now, again, like I said, I did a video maybe last week or so about would Zelda, or would Nintendo package 3 different Zelda collections for the Fallen Hero timeline, the Child timeline, and the Adult timeline. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. But I also said I don't think they're going to do that unless they're just like, hey, we can slap $60 on these 3 and kind of trickle them out. Like, okay, here's the Fallen Hero timeline in April, the Child timeline in August, and the Adult timeline is Christmas or something like that. You know, pick or choose, change them up, whatever. But I don't think they're going to do that. Now, my prediction is not radical, but I think that's okay. I mean, sometimes it's okay to not do the radical thing. They didn't do anything radical with the 3D All-Star Collection. We have no reason to believe they're going to do anything. Pardon the motorcycle. There's no reason to believe they're going to reinvent the wheel with Zelda. They didn't do it for Mario. So, the number 1 entry on their list is Breath of the Wild 2. As of the filming of this, I don't know if we have anything more concrete. I don't even know if it's going to come out this year officially or not, but you can see they make a good point. Rumors around an upgraded Nintendo Switch Pro console, which this was a big theory, that they would not release Breath of the Wild 2 until the Switch Pro was ready, and honestly, I've heard a lot of rumors about that. But, you know, I told Jessica, don't buy a Switch, don't buy a Switch. She didn't buy a Switch 2 Black Fridays ago because we were like, oh, a Switch Pro may come out in 2020. Yada, 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 yada. Finally, I broke down, bought her a Switch for her birthday because I don't know if a Switch Pro's coming out anytime soon or not. There seems to be a lot of thought that it is, and I don't know if that's grounded in any kind of reality or just people going, okay, the Switch has been out for 4 years, about time to upgrade, Nintendo. But I don't think they're going to hold Breath of the Wild 2 to a Switch Pro. We'll see. I just don't think they're going to do that. I think they'll roll this game out whenever it's ready, regardless of whether the Switch Pro is here or not. But I think this is either going to come out at the end of this year or it is the big 2022 game. I don't think it can be any later than 2022. I just don't see it being any later than that. And by the time this video comes out, maybe they've already announced it. I mean, it's the 35th anniversary. They could drop anything at any point and must be like, whoa. But now look at number 2. They wrote this article in January. I did not want to make this prediction video until after March 31st, but this announcement is what has forced my hand. The reason I did not want to make this video until March 31st was that was when they were going to pull the 3D All-Star Collection. And what was so important about that was soon, we kind of figured soon thereafter we would figure out what's the deal with Super Mario Galaxy 2. Is it coming as DLC? Is it going to get a Switch port? What's the deal? And that's what I was going to wait for because, you know, there was already the rumor, was it the director? Or I don't know who, but someone was at like a Zelda orchestra event thing, said that he wanted to make a Zelda Skyward Sword game for the Switch, a port, if you will. And people are like, oh my gosh, he just confirmed this. And I said, well, let's wait and see what they do with Mario Galaxy 2, because that'll tell us what they're going to do with Skyward Sword. But Nintendo jumped the gun and said, okay, we're releasing Skyward Sword on the Switch. And that took all the mystery out of it. Now, the reason that this was important for me is because the way that they handled the 3D All-Stars is they took a recipient from the GameCube, the N64, and the Wii. Not exactly in that order, of course. But I said, okay, they'll probably do that for the 35th anniversary, which is where my guess is going, by the way. And I said, okay, Ocarina of Time is going to be the N64 occupant, whatever you want to say in that regard, representative. Okay, then it gets really interesting because Wind Waker and Twilight Princess both exist on the Wii. They're both phenomenal, but they both have Wii U ports. Okay, then you get to the Wii, and then you have Twilight Princess, and you also have Skyward Sword. And I look at Skyward Sword as almost like Super Mario Galaxy 2. So my initial guess was that we would get Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess as a 3-in-1 on one cartridge. Boom, 35th anniversary. It's kind of what I assumed. Skyward Sword getting a Switch port calls a lot into question because they announced it before a 3D All-Star Zelda. So that makes you wonder, are we getting a 3D All-Star Zelda or is Skyward Sword it? Now again, by the time I get this video out, we may already know. We may not. But this game calls everything into question. Now, there's still a lot. This game's coming out in like June. I wouldn't say in this article. This was written in January. I want to say June. Now, Nintendo needs something for Christmas, right? I don't think they've told us what the Christmas game is going to be unless it's Breath of the Wild 2, of course. But that could leave the door open for the 3D remakes. But then it gets a little crowded because are you going to drop Breath of the Wild 2 and 3D remakes for the holiday season? Personally, I think they should. I really do. But what if they don't want to kind of cannibalize themselves? Which I think Zelda fans would just buy both, honestly. So I don't think there's really cannibalization going on there. But I don't know how they'll view it. So this little game is throwing a monkey wrench in the plan right now. Now, if they come out and say Breath of the Wild 2 is delayed till 2022, then I'll say, okay, the door is now open for the 3D remakes again, and so on and so forth. We can adjust accordingly. But looky here. Number 3, collection of 3D games. Mario got his Mario 3D All-Star Collection, so why shouldn't Link get the same treatment? Let's see what they had to say about it. Though a variety of console generations are likely, maybe Ocarina of Time for the N64, Twilight Princess for the GameCube and Wii, and Skyward Sword for the Wii U all together. Now, we know that part is wrong, because Skyward Sword is getting its own release. I'm really surprised they didn't go Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. Kind of surprised. Now, the other thing that gets called into question is this, because we did a video last year called the 5 most likely Wii U games to come to the Switch. And in it we talked about Wonderful 101, which has got released. We talked about Nintendo Land. We talked about a lot, and everybody was like, Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, bundled for the Switch. And I mean, this has gotten traction as recently as the 4th birthday. I was watching Adam Korlick talk about the Switch's 4th anniversary or birthday, whatever, I guess birthday. And he was talking about how the Wii U was basically, the Switch was made to just pick ripe Wii U games off the tree, right? And these two are HD remakes of old games. They're some of the last Wii U games to come to the Switch. And I saw one article released that just angry fans talking about how Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are now stuck on the Wii U and yada 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 yada. And I'm thinking, probably not. They're probably coming to the Switch. It's just a matter of, are they going to come in this bundle package? And obviously this already discounts this theory of Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword being on the same bundle. And it also discounts my guess. Because if you put Wind Waker and Twilight Princess onto a bundle, why would you put either of them in another bundle with Ocarina of Time? Which creates a split product, okay? So we can have Wind Waker and Twilight Princess as an HD bundle. I think that's a pretty safe bet. The only thing wrong with this bundle is that it leaves out Ocarina of Time. Now imagine if they did Sunshine and Galaxy. People would be like, where in the world is Mario 64? And that's what would happen if you did Wind Waker and Twilight Princess to celebrate the 35th anniversary and you didn't have Ocarina of Time. So, do you guys remember on the GameCube, they did a Zelda collection that had Zelda 1, 2, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask with a playable demo of Wind Waker. What if they did almost the exact same thing? Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and a playable demo of Breath of the Wild 2. I don't know if that's enough. I don't know. I don't think it is. You know, do you touch them up? Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, do you take the DS versions or the 3DS versions or do you take the originals? I don't know. That's what's so interesting about the Zelda 35th anniversary. That's what's so cool about it is the Mario 3D collection was cracked and solved before Nintendo ever even had a chance to jump in front of that raging train. Okay, we knew it's going to be 64, it's going to be Sunshine, and it's going to be Galaxy. The only question was, would we get Galaxy 2? Now, with Zelda getting 2 entries a console, there's a lot in question. We really don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to do Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess? Or are they going to do Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask as one bundle, and Wind Waker and Twilight Princess as a bundle? I mean, what are they going to do? Not to mention, they did a lot on the eShop and digital. They had like the Mario Battle Royale, the Mario 35th, like the Tetris 99. They did like the Mario Kart Live. They did a lot of weird off-the-wall stuff. I think they did like some Game & Watches with Mario. Like there was a lot of out there products. So I'm expecting to get some weird stuff thrown in there. You know, maybe we get a Zelda 1 35 like the Tetris 99. That would be kind of cool. I don't know, that might be cool. There's a lot of speculation right now, which is what I think makes this so fun. I think you're either in one of two camps. Now that Skyward Sword is off the table. I think you're in a camp like I was in, where it's going to be Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker. Or you're in this camp of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess is getting a double pack, a combo pack. And I'm just not sure. I think going based off strictly what they did for Mario 35, you gotta say it's Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess. Where you get the HD, maybe they HD the HD of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, and then they just leave Ocarina of Time, bare bones, emulation, just to upset everybody. Maybe that's what they do. I think that's taking last year's model and putting it onto this, right? But people in the past have said, well, all they've done is taken Wii U games and put them on the Switch. So why wouldn't they take Wind Waker and Twilight Princess as a bundle? I don't know. I don't know what to expect, but I feel like Ocarina of Time has to be the centerpiece. I mean, it's like the Zelda game. I know a lot of people may push back at that and say Link to the Past, and maybe Link to the Past deserves to be on some kind of collection for the Switch. I'm not sure. It's on the Switch SNES online service. So I don't know what they'll do, and that's what's going to be so fun and so great about this, is watching what Nintendo does and doesn't do. Like, all of us kind of have our idea of like, oh, this is what Nintendo's doing. It's obvious, but it's not obvious like it was with Mario. At least I don't think so, because there are a lot of great Zelda titles. But as far as 3D Mario, there was really only 4 picks. So that's just where I stand. I love this topic. If any of you give me any video ideas for the 35th anniversary, I might pounce on that as news breaks. I might pounce on that. It just kind of depends, you know. I was off today, had this kicking around in my head, and I was like, I'm going to make a video about this. So we'll just see. But either way, I'm excited to watch it play out. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below what you think it's going to be. Let me know. Does Skyward Sword change your expectations, or do they solidify your expectations? Because I thought Skyward Sword would get a Switch release standalone like it did, but I thought it would get announced after a Zelda 3D All-Stars. So now it got announced before, which again causing the question of, are we even going to get a 3D All-Stars? We might just get Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild 2. Or they could just pull a rabbit out of a hat. Who knows? But it's going to be fun to watch, for sure. So thank you guys so much for watching and sitting through this video. If you're interested in the rest of the list, 5, A Link to the Past remake. I actually don't think that's far off either, but I do kind of think it was one or the other. It was either going to be a Link to the Past remake or a Skyward Sword port. And we got Skyward Sword port. I'm not ruling this out. It just drops to like 20% chance for me. Special edition consoles and Joy-Cons, again, completely feasible. More free Zelda games on the Nintendo Switch Online. Based off this, they would have to add more consoles because we already have the NES and the SNES titles. So, will they jump to N64 or Game Boy? I don't know. Smash DLC? Possibly. I don't know. Legend of Zelda Battle Royale, that's kind of what we were talking about. I guess that's... Yeah, as long as he's talking about the Mario Royale. And a Legend of Zelda AR game. I don't know. Did Mario get one? I don't think Mario got one. All we want is a Breath of the Wild inspired version. That's cool. I don't know if they'll do it, but I guess it lends itself better than Mario does to that. Okay. TechRadar.com. This was from Breath of the Wild 2 to remakes, 10 predictions. Alright. Thank you guys for being a visual reference. And that'll do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, everybody. Let's get to it. I probably should have a script for a video like this because I don't want to say the wrong thing or whatnot. But here we go. It's a sensitive subject for those in the gaming area because I try to stay spoiler free, but I do try to follow news. E3 just happened. As everybody knows, it's Zelda's 35th anniversary. And Mario's 35th anniversary was last year, and we got a lot of big things for that. The Mario, like the Tetris 99 game, I think it was called Mario 35 or something like that, the Battle Royale style. The Game & Watch, Mario Bowser's Fury, and then the 3D All-Stars. There may have been even more than that, but that's just what I remember off the top of my head. So everyone expected them to be like, well, that worked last year. Let's just do a carbon copy of that. And, well, not 100%, right? So we got the Zelda Game & Watch, which I'm sure most of us could have predicted that based off the Mario Game & Watch. We are getting Skyward Sword. Is that supposed to be a stand-in for the Bowser Fury or the 3D All-Star Collection, right? And then what I have pulled up here, this is from Nintendo Life. You may be wondering why you're looking at this. And that's because of this quote from E3 right here. This year, the original Zelda game reaches its 35th anniversary. While we don't have any campaigns or other Nintendo Switch games planned, we've been working on this Game & Watch system as a special item to help mark the occasion and reflect fondly on the earliest days of The Legend of Zelda. I get that, right? Because this game is kind of a celebration of... Is it the first 3 Zelda games? You got Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Link's Awakening. Those might be the first 3. I think Link's Awakening came out before Link to the Past. Not 100% sure, but I think so. So I get that. I get where they're coming from. It does look awesome. It does look like a great way of celebrating the franchise. But let's be real. The Mario release was so hype last year that, I mean, anything less than something similar to that, fans are going to view as a disappointment. Though I love making these videos, though I love talking about it, I have tried, I don't know if I've always adhered to this, but I've always tried to take it with a grain of salt. And I was faithful to the Mario leaks last year and was rewarded as such. And I will be faithful to the release of the Zelda games until Breath of the Wild 2 comes out. If Breath of the Wild 2 comes out and we haven't got the ports, then they clearly were not in the works, or COVID changed things. I don't know. And so, this is the quote that sent the world into a titsy. And I will say that my first reaction when I read this, I was kind of sad. But that only lasted for about 30 seconds, because then I started to dissect and analyze the verbiage, right? So, it says that they don't have any campaigns planned or any other Nintendo Switch games planned. And I do think planned is a big word here, because weren't they playing down the Mario rumors? Didn't they say they didn't have anything planned for the Mario 35th anniversary, and then boom, they hit us with the 3-in-1? So I'm not being fooled by this, all right? So that was my first inclination, is like, wait, they waited until what, September to announce the Mario 35th anniversary? So that's kind of my cutoff point, is around September, October. I think we will hear something a little more concrete after that. And that was my gut, right? Like, okay, I'm going to wait until about September or October and see if they do a stealth drop. Maybe right now they don't have anything planned and they wanted to see how the internet would handle that. I don't know. I'm not on the inside, of course. So I went to see how are other people taking this, and I think probably the biggest conclusion people were reaching, they were saying, duh, Nintendo's going to say this. They literally have Zelda Skyward Sword coming out next month as of the filming of this video. So they wouldn't want... I've heard people say they wouldn't want to cannibalize sales, right? And then I've heard the other argument that Skyward Sword is probably the worst received Zelda game, at least mainline Zelda game, ever. I mean, maybe... I don't know how people felt about Zelda 2 when it came out, but when Skyward Sword came out, hated. And I know Wind Waker was kind of hated too, but as time has gone on, Wind Waker's been looked at as a classic, whereas people still hate Skyward Sword. So I would say Skyward Sword is in the running for top 3 worst received Zelda games of all time. So okay, I completely lost my train of thought. But I'm back. Okay, that was crazy. All right, that was like an out-of-body experience. All right, what I was saying is I've heard people make the argument that Skyward Sword was terribly received. So if you're charging $60 for one terrible game, and then you're going to do the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess bundle for $60, people are going to be like, why would you buy Skyward Sword for $60 when you can buy those two for $60? That thought didn't really cross my mind, but it is a worthy point to add here. Another point that I've heard mentioned is, remember that they ran the Mario 35 and they ran all that stuff until like what, March 31st of this year. So I don't know when Skyward Sword is going, or not Skyward Sword. I don't know when Breath of the Wild 2 is going to come out. But if it did get an early enough release date, now I don't know if Nintendo's fiscal year is, was it March 31st or May 31st? I can't even remember. But if their fiscal year is like the end of March or the end of May or whatnot, then Breath of the Wild 2 could sneak in, and that would be considered a part of the 35th anniversary. Some jargon like that. And I can see that, but that's where I'm getting at. That's the thing that really surprises me, all right? If you didn't have Twilight Princess or Wind Waker planned, if you didn't have Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask planned, then why wouldn't you try to get Breath of the Wild 2 out? Because I'm pretty sure if they released Breath of the Wild 2 as the big game for the 35th anniversary, people would be ecstatic. So now here we are, allegedly with no other games planned, and Breath of the Wild 2 coming out at the end of the year, or sorry, next year, and the remake that you're giving us is like one of the worst received mainline Zelda games of all time. I think when you start thinking about it like that, you can see why people are a little disappointed. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, this is why you shouldn't buy into rumors, gamers are idiots. And quite frankly, a lot of that is right. But you saw what they did for Mario. And now you're like, you put three of the greatest games ever made, Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy, onto one cartridge. You ported over, not only ported over Mario 3D World, you gave it a complete DLC overhaul. And now you're giving us just Skyward Sword with no enhancements or no added content. You're not porting any of the classics over. And Breath of the Wild 2 is a 2022 release date. This is why people are saying, this is underwhelming. All right? Because, I mean, you could have given us that's the other thing that blows me away is Cadence of Hyrule and Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, they came out last year. So you had two spin-off games. So you could have been like Game & Watch, Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, Cadence of Hyrule, Age of Calamity. Boom! Zelda 35th anniversary. It wouldn't have been Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask. Gamers, they still would have complained. But that's at least a lot of stuff. You got the Game & Watch, you got Skyward Sword, you got Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, you got Cadence of Hyrule, you've got Age of Calamity, and then maybe you do, I don't know, the Mario Superstar Party or the Mario Golf, something like that gets a Zelda character in it, or some update in Smash, something to that effect. This just feels a little flat, especially compared. Well, I mean, you gotta understand, Nintendo set the bar so high themselves, right? Like, everyone ripped on gamers last year. Stop believing the hype. Stop believing the rumors. And then Nintendo, more or less, knocked it out of the park. I know a lot of people are still mad about that collection, but, I mean, they gave us the Bowser's Fury, the Game & Watch, the 3D All-Stars collection, and I'm sure more, maybe just that. The Mario Kart Live. They gave us a lot of Mario stuff. The Mario 35 Battle Royale. All of that. They set the bar so stinking high. And Zelda obviously runs right there with Mario. Now, you don't expect them to do this with Donkey Kong or Metroid. Shoot, I mean, F-Zero can't even get a game. So, you don't expect that. with these other franchises, but these are the two big ones. These are the two big boys. Mario's getting all this attention. Zelda's getting this. That's why I say I think this is one of those read between the lines. And that's probably not even the right thing. Really, it's just a smokescreen, in my opinion. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if this is all they did. Because, honestly, it might be two different parties that work on this. Like, there could be separate people working on the Mario stuff that's working on the Zelda stuff. So Mario could have went all out. Zelda, maybe not so much. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if this is true, but in my heart of hearts, I believe it. Because, all the people who believed the rumors last year got called crazy, got called bad for the gaming community, and then almost everything ended up being true for the most part. So I still don't know how they'll do it. That's kind of still the exciting thing heading into July. We still don't know. Is it going to be Is it going to be Twilight Princess and Wind Waker? Is it going to be an upscaled Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask? Are the handheld games like the Oracle games or Link Between Worlds or Triforce Heroes? Is any of that stuff coming to or Minish Cap? Is any of that stuff coming to the Switch? So I don't know. It's still exciting to think about. I think it's all still up in the air. I think once we get past Skyward Sword, that's when the games are really going to heat up. Because right now, stuff could still be smokescreen. Stuff could still be kind of delicate. They could still be planning, if you will, how to handle this. So right now, they may not have any plans, right? And if they are going to port stuff over, I mean, how hard is that going to be? Probably not too hard, right? So they could say in June we don't have plans, and then in August start planning. So I'm just saying, I don't think the dream is dead. I think if we get to Christmas and we haven't heard anything, the dream's probably dead. I mean, honestly, probably well before then, but I think we can sit out through July. We can probably, until Skyward Sword comes out, don't expect to hear any rumors. Well, maybe rumors, but don't expect to hear any concrete information or facts. So that's my opinion on it. Let me know what you guys think. Is this all smoke and mirrors? Is the dream really dead? Should we be content with Skyward Sword, the Game & Watch, and Breath of the Wild 2 next year? You guys tell me. I'm choosing to still hold out hope. I just don't know what they'll do, okay? It could be a collection of, the N64 games, the handheld games, the duo pack of Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. I don't know. I don't know. But do we even know what... See, for me, until we hear what Nintendo's big Christmas game is, I'm not giving up on the dream. I don't think they have a Christmas game planned. Because the Pokemon games come out in November. That's pretty close. And the Zelda game comes out this July. Hold on one second. Okay, we're probably going to get a little long-winded here, but I pulled up this guide to see what's their big holiday thing, right? So, okay, you got Mario Party Superstars. Surely they're not expecting that. Like, this little line right here, I think this is good quality games. Their October slate, I think, is pretty solid. They've got Super Monkey Ball, Banana Mania, Metroid Dread, Marvel Guardians, and Mario Party. I think October's a pretty good month to own a Switch. I think November, you could argue, is a little better. You got this Game & Watch. You got Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Then in December, right now, the only thing that looks to be announced is Advance Wars 1 and 2. So really, what are they releasing at the holiday? Because I don't really see a Christmas game. I mean, maybe, unless you really want to count these third-party games. I mean, yeah, we got Mario Party Superstars, but then Monkey Ball, Marvel. I mean, yeah, we do have that 2D Metroid game, but surely they're not expecting 2D Metroid to carry the month or the holiday season. And these are all like second and third party games. So what is the big Nintendo first party game? I really don't know. I mean, you're looking through this and these are all, again, third party games. Some of them look pretty good. We got Danganronpa, we got Fatal Frame. Let's see, no first-party games. Then we get to 2022, right? We got Pokemon Legends, Splatoon 3, Mario Rabbids. So 2022 is shaping up to be okay. Then it gets into DS games, or 3DS games for whatever reason. So, until I see the big holiday game, maybe it's a new Donkey Kong game, maybe it's a new Yoshi game, maybe it's a new Kirby game. I don't know. Maybe it's a new IP. I don't know. But they've basically already told us, hey, it's not going to be Splatoon. So, I'm holding out hope that there's going to be some kind of Zelda collection in this November, December area. So, I got to stop getting so long-winded here. I've been recording for almost 20 minutes. That's my opinions. That's my thoughts on the matter. Please let me know what you guys think down below. Remember, this is all rumors. This is all speculation. The only thing we have to go off of is them saying there's nothing else planned. That doesn't shut the door completely, but that brings it down to like a small crack. So I understand if you're jumping ship. I don't think you should just yet. But I do understand if you're like, nope, dream's over, it's dead. But that's it for me, guys. I am enjoying these talking head videos. I have some more planned. I'm going to try to capitalize on the E3 hype. It's got us all going crazy. It wasn't that good. But at the same time, I feel like we should highlight some of the games that were good. So I'm thinking about doing my top 5 games from E3 and my top 5 indie games. I'm excited. So be on the lookout for those videos. And, give me some more talking head video ideas. Whether it's about genres, games I've played, collecting. It doesn't matter to me, guys. So, I'll see you guys in the next video. I appreciate everyone who watches, likes, comments, shares, anything like that. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next exciting video. Legend of Zelda.
A Link to the Past.
A Link to the Past. Alrighty. Does it do the intro if you don't? Here we go. Long ago in the beautiful kingdom of Hyrule, surrounded by mountains and forest. ... Legends told of an
Omnipotent.
omnipotent and omniscient golden power that resided in a hidden land. Many people aggressively sought to enter the hidden golden land. Ellipses. But no one ever returned. One day, evil power began to flow from the golden land.
Oh no.
Oh yes. So the king commanded 7 wise men to seal the gate to the land of the golden power. That seal should have remained for all time.
But it didn't, did it?
But when these events were obscured by the mist of time and became legend,
What happened? What happened?
a mysterious wizard known as Aghanim came to Hyrule to release the seal. He eliminated the good king of Hyrule.
No!
I hope I pronounced his name right.
We should have looked it up.
I did. Through evil magic, he began to make descendants of the 7 wise men vanish, one after another. It's my favorite
Oh
sound.
no, where did Zelda go?
That wasn't Zelda.
Oh.
And the time of destiny for Princess Zelda is drawing near. I think that was one of the descendants, but I don't know.
Oh no, where did the descendant go?
Right. Go ahead and try to get us going. That is my practice file. We will ignore that.
I will make myself one.
Yes. You can name yourself whatever
Whoa.
you wish.
I gotta get used to this.
Actually, you don't, because this is the only time it'll come up.
Oh, never mind then.
Actually, I'm not going to say that. There's some parts I think where it asks your opinion, but...
Here we go.
Whoa! Oh, this is you?
Help me. Please help me. I am a prisoner in the dungeon of the castle. My name is Zelda. The wizard, Agahim, has done something to the other missing girls. Now only I remain. Aghanim has seized control of the castle and is now trying to open the 7 wise men's seal. I am in the dungeon of the castle. Please help me.
Hey, Jess. I'm going out for a while. I'll be back by morning. Don't leave the house.
But what if I want to?
I don't know.
Uh-oh. I'm gonna leave the house. I didn't need that. Why did I do that?
Alrighty, so go ahead and open that chest.
I will. Woo!
You got a lamp. Now you can light torches and see your way in darkness.
Yay!
So this is probably the most anticipated. Nah, you don't need those hearts. Your life's all the way cool. This is probably the most anticipated Let's Play ever,
It is.
at least in our minds. This is a Let's Play that we've been talking about doing. Let's Play that we've been talking about doing for 3 years or so. What are you doing up this late, kid? You can stay up when you're grown up. Now go home.
I don't wanna.
No, I think you should go to the castle.
I have to figure out where that is.
So we've kind of told the story before, I guess.
I don't think it's gonna be that way.
I see you brought a map so you don't get lost. Press the X button to see your map. We don't have any need to do that. I'll give you a hint. You have to go north.
So, up.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, this is a Let's Play we've been talking about doing forever. Not necessarily a Link to the Past, but just Zelda in general. It's a franchise that I grew up on, and a franchise that Jessica really has no experience with.
Help me! I'm in the dungeon of the castle. I know there is a hidden path from outside of the castle to the garden inside.
Outside of playing it on the DS. Hey, you're not allowed in the castle, son. Go home and get some sleep.
I don't wanna.
Well, you're in luck. You don't have to. She played the first one on the DS a little bit, but past that, she really hasn't played Zelda. So it's going to be fun to document her experiences in Zelda. Do any of them look kind of out of place? Or not necessarily out of place, but...
This is surrounded by something.
Yeah, why don't you try that one?
Oh no, I fell.
It's okay, you only break your ankles
Oh, jeez.
and your kneecaps.
Oh jeez. Oh no.
Jess, I didn't want you involved in this. I told you not to leave the house. Take my sword and shield and listen. You can now focus power in the blade. Then release it using the secret technique handed down by our people. Jess, you can do it. Save the princess. Zelda is your...
My what? Oh my goodness, what is she?
Your ellipses. Your
Sister? Mom? Grandmother?
Your aunt.
Oh, okay.
Uncle.
Daughter?
Dog.
Dog. Interesting.
She's something to you, who knows?
I'm guessing we go this way.
Good
oh,
guess.
No. Oh no.
They're easy. Look at that.
Oh, thank goodness.
So
Bring it on.
we'll get this out of the way early. Obviously this is Jessica's first time ever playing it. So this is not a speed run. This is not a 100%. This is only us recording her reactions. It's weird, but there's a chance she doesn't even like it, you know, so you're just kind of following along. Why don't you go ahead and like that? I think that's what makes it cool, though. For a lot of us, we grew up on these games. But for her, this will be her first time. So this isn't for people who want to see a speed run or whatever. This is for people who want to see someone's reaction to playing one of their favorite games, if that makes sense. So don't expect her to kill it. I mean, she might, but she might not at the same time. So you don't have to kill all these guards. You can, I guess, if you want to.
Oh no.
Or you can.
Maybe if I want to run past them or get them.
You can charge it up and just be ready to fight them like that.
Oh.
It works really well on these guys.
You know what I miss?
What?
The throwing of your sword.
Oh, in the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if this one has that at any point or not.
I'm trying to get you. Why are you
Just
running from
hold
me?
it and walk into them. See?
Oh,
Look at how easy
I'm
it
still
is.
holding it. Okay.
Well, yeah, you can release
There
it
we go.
once you.
That was easier.
Yep.
Anything over here?
Probably nothing of value.
I can jump down from there, but I'm not up there.
Right. I guess just go inside now.
Here we go.
Well, Link struggles with doors.
If I could go through it.
Right. So I really do just recommend the holding it down strategy with these guys. You can get both of them if you...
Darn it.
That's okay. You
No.
tried. You tried. It's
Go away.
okay.
Go away, you. Go away.
You'll have to aim it a little better than that. There you go. So you want to do it on the side. Oddly enough, you want to do it on the side with his shield.
That is weird.
Yeah, if you do it, you gotta swing. That's okay.
Ooh,
You only
I
let
forgot.
Ganon win. The world is over. Zelda is dead. She's now rotting in the jail cell. Save and continue. You're not getting out of this that easy.
I forgot to hold it down the second time.
Yeah, it does take 2 hits, unfortunately. See, if you do it on the side with his sword, he lives. I guess maybe... No, that definitely has to be a shield, right?
Yeah, you would think so. I'm gonna go up this way. Maybe?
I will give you a hint. What you're looking for is not up here.
Oh, wait.
Ooh, you
So
got both of
Zelda
them.
is not up here.
No,
Ooh,
yeah,
that was
our
close.
princess is on a different floor.
Oh, well, she did say she's in the basement.
Right.
So somehow I have to get down.
Right. So go up. Sound strategy.
Let's see what's in here.
Go for it.
Oh,
Alright, you can probably get your other heart on the other side.
that's what I'm hoping. Yes. That's awesome. Oh,
Oh
in your
yeah,
face.
I meant to tell
in
you.
your face. I want to try it.
Pots are the strongest weapon in this game.
Really?
Like,
Even
forget the
stronger than a
Master Sword, forget the light arrows.
Wow.
It's all about the pots, man. Up,
Oh wait, I was just up there though.
forward. Yeah, but you're on the top level.
Oh.
Yeah. Charge.
I forgot how.
You can get both of them. Or, yeah, that'll work. You can get both.
No, I can't.
If you release it, you can really get both of them, I promise.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot what happens when you release it.
Like I said, she is new to this.
I forgot you could do that.
It's okay.
At least I got my hearts back.
Yep. So, here's the basement.
Down
Yep. Hey, oh,
here. No, no,
you gotta,
no.
you gotta face the right way.
Oh gosh, I can't.
There you go, you got
Ooh,
it.
that was close.
Very.
Ooh.
Got a oddly shaped mustache.
Or what some people might call a map.
fair enough. Use that key you got.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Here, alright, here's another tip. You can knock those guys off the ledge.
Let's try it. Oh gosh, why am I
Or-
trying to do it without my knife?
I haven't,
My
without your
sword.
knife.
No. He looks so sad. He's like, ugh.
Yeah, they did look pretty bad. Alright, tip number 2.
Here we go.
That's still better than last time. You gotta start facing him.
Okay, I
That's
got
your
him. I
problem.
got him.
You did get him. Release it. Well,
Oh, that
yeah, it
worked.
worked. Now you could just use a pot to take this guy out.
Oh, I knocked him down.
You did. Well,
Oh,
I
was
would
worried I was gonna...
take that one with you and throw it at the next guy. He'll come at you. See, look at that.
Ooh.
Your sword takes like 2 hits, the pot takes 1. Will that come in you?
Where are we gonna find out?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, it didn't.
You just like ate it real quick.
I guess so. So it just disappeared out thin air.
You can go upstairs and bypass
Yes.
all of them.
I will do that. There we go.
Link also struggles with,
Any kind of turns or
yeah,
doors,
doors, hallways.
passageways.
Yeah, they're really hard to figure out.
Ooh.
You got yourself a little penny for your trouble.
Oh, can't go through there yet.
Those doors are locked, and you'll see the key symbol at the top. Okay. Remember, you gotta hit him in the shield.
I'm scared.
Step up. Boom.
No.
You gotta hit him twice. Gotta hit him twice. Gotta face
I
him.
forgot to
Gotta face him.
No, 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 don't get me. Oh, I can't. No.
Hey.
Oh, thank goodness.
How did Link slice him through the statue? We'll never know. Get yourself a-
That does not matter how it happened. Just that it did happen.
I agree.
Now I have the boomerang. Oh no.
You gotta set it. We'll set it. Do you want to go ahead and set it now, or do you want to wait?
Am I gonna need it?
I mean, it's more useful than the torch at this point.
Then yes.
Go ahead and set it. Okay, we have it set.
Yay.
Alright, go downstairs. Now remember the thing. Remember my pro tip for this boss. That's all
Oh
I'm gonna tell you.
no. I don't know what your pro tip is.
It's really easy. He is not the boss.
Okay.
I mean, you could let it go until your boomerang. That works.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Okay, she remembered.
Ah.
It just takes 2, so.
Okay.
Oh,
Whoa, I got
voila.
him.
Yeah, like he's pretty scary, but then you throw the pots at him. Oh, you got the big key. This is the master key of the dungeon. It can open many locks that small keys cannot.
Whoa. Look, it's Zelda. Oh,
it's
I have
Peach.
to talk. Thank you, Jess. I had a feeling you were getting close. Jess, listen carefully. The wizard is magically controlling all the soldiers in the castle. I fear the worst for my father. The wizard is an inhuman fiend with strong magical powers. Do you understand?
Not
No.
at all.
Alright, let's get out of here before the wizard notices. I know a secret path, but first we have to go to the first floor. Let's go!
How would Link?
I'm opening this first, thank you.
How would Link understand any of that? Like he just crawled out of bed, and now here.
He probably just thinks that he's dreaming.
Maybe, if it's like Link's Awakening.
Are
Right?
they dreaming in that?
Are they? I'm looking in the
I
name.
don't... Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
Which came first?
I want to say this one, but I don't know. Pretty sure this one is. I think this one is 92.
We're gonna run, 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 run.
I don't know about Link's Awakening. See if you remember the shortcut. And you do. Good job.
Okay, I couldn't remember if this was actually it or not.
Yeah, you bypass virtually everybody. Just run up the stairs.
Oh, ah! He said no. No stairs for me. Run, 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 run.
Nice. Left or right, they lead the same way, so it doesn't matter.
I don't remember where I'm going. Just to the first floor?
Try to think about somewhere you haven't been in the castle. Your health is full. Oh.
Aw, man.
Nice. Look, you can use Zelda as a shield. An awful shield, but a shield nonetheless. I guess it doesn't matter. I was gonna say I would go upstairs, but...
I'll go. That's where I was heading, but then I was like, no, maybe I'll try to get him. But no.
Well... Yeah, okay. Sir, come here, sir.
No! You
Just
weren't
run,
supposed
just
to attack me.
Nah, I would jump down.
Jump down.
Ooh, nice.
That was close. There is a secret passage in the throne room that leads to Sanctuary. I'm sure the old man there will help us.
You probably definitely could have went
Oh.
upstairs. What are you doing? No, you need to go upstairs. Go upstairs, woman.
I forgot.
I was saying you could have took those stairs immediately to your right. Just run.
That ornamental shelf should open. Do you have a light? It's pitch dark inside and you can't see without one. If you're ready, let's go. Help me push it from the left.
I would go ahead and get your lamp equipped.
Here
Alright.
we go. We do it, just push.
Yeah.
Push. Keep going, why'd you stop?
It's like getting tired of get me a protein bar. Alrighty. Can you survive?
I don't know. Ah! Do I need these?
You don't need them, no. You don't even, I don't think you even have to light those. Those are probably just to help you out, you know?
Yeah.
So that you can see the little boogers. Yeah, just go. See what I mean?
Yeah.
It gives you a pretty big radius, I think.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, those things do sneak up on
Oh
you.
my goodness.
Just run, you don't have to kill anything.
Were these in the first room?
Yeah, they actually were. I don't really look up the names or anything, but there are snake enemies in the first one that
Anything over here? Oh man.
no, there's nothing worth dying over. A little lamp spot. But there were little snake dudes that basically when you saw them, they would charge at you.
There
Just
is
come forward.
But there's a thing over there.
Is that the chest?
Yeah.
Or with the key?
Oh man.
Yeah, I guess you needed that.
No.
Ah, so close. Alright. Oh, I guess sometimes it still doesn't matter. But you got the key.
I did. Here we go.
Ooh, only a couple more rooms.
Uh-oh. After passing through these sewers, we will be very close to Sanctuary. Let's be careful. Yeah, I know. Like, there's everything in here.
We'll
scared.
be talking about this more in future episodes, and that's how Jessica feels about heart pieces and different stuff like this. She's already told me that she's not really trying to 100% the game. They can't walk in water, so you're actually safe to just walk through the water.
Oh, gotcha.
But I'm sure she's going to want to pick up some easy heart containers that are along the way and such to give her more health. But we'll just handle all that as we come across it. But we don't want to put any pressure on her to feel like she has to 100% the game. Ooh, you got that? Ooh, and it had the key. Why don't you go ahead and light that down in the bottom? And then you get hit from behind. Now just find that door and get out of here. That was just unnecessarily confrontational.
Ooh, I need a bomb.
Yeah, you'll pick up bombs pretty early on, so if you feel like coming back here... Ooh, 20 rupees, pick that up. So if you feel like coming back here, once we get bombs, we can.
Yeah, we should, because, I mean, there's 2 spots right there.
Yep, I think this is the last room, so just don't do that. Just pick up a pot.
No.
Ooh. Oh, okay, there is actually this room. Charge. And you don't have to walk into them, you can actually release it when you're close.
Sanctuary is just beyond that door. Pull the switch over there. I almost said behind
Notice
the
she
door.
didn't tell you which lever to pull.
That's true.
Sneaky little Zelda.
Come on. Come get me. I'm not scared.
Right, let it go. Oh, okay. There's 5 rupees.
Come on.
Let it go. Okay.
Okay. I just made it run into me. You have to pull the lever to open the door. Oh, well, I guess I didn't really have to read it in Zelda's voice. Oh.
Did you see his face when you were pulling it?
So what happens if you pull that one?
I don't know. Just kidding, I do know.
Oh, jeez!
And you're gonna let them hit you?
No! I was trying to run!
Nice.
No! No, I got lucky.
You got lucky?
The first time.
Oh. Good. Alright, so she got us back here.
Finally. Here we go.
Link using his mental powers to open the door.
Or what if it's the old man?
Maybe. Princess Zelda, you are safe! Is this your doing, Jess? As Zelda walks through you.
I know. Yes, it was Jess who helped me escape from the dungeon. When I was captive, the wizard said, "Once I have finished with you, the final one, the seal of the wise men will open." Jess, you must not let the land of Hyrule fall into the wizard's clutches. If he releases the seal of the 7 wise men, evil power will overwhelm this land. Before that happens, before it's too late,
Destroy.
the wizard, before he destroys all of Hyrule. You can do it. You can.
I sense that a mighty evil force guides the wizard's actions and augments his magical power. The only weapon potent enough to defeat the wizard is the legendary Master Sword. It is said that the village elder is a descendant of one of the 7 wise men. Maybe he can tell you more. I will mark his house on your map, but watch your every move. I am certain that the castle soldiers will be looking for you now. I will hide Princess Zelda here. Do not worry. Seek the elder. Do you understand?
Not at
all.
No.
But alright guys, I guess that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Alright everybody, we are back for another fun video. So lately I've been watching a lot of a YouTuber named RetroBird. And I think his videos are really good. As the name implies, he's mostly into retro video games. But every once in a while he'll talk about modern games. And one of the problems that he often cites with modern games is the open worldness. And I used to have very strong opinions for open world, like very positive opinions. I would play a game, like latest example would probably be Kirby, the newest Kirby on Switch, how they didn't really go full on open world. It's kind of like a condensed Mario Odyssey, where you have a bunch of smaller levels. They're 3D, but like they're more 3D than Kirby 64, but not as 3D as Mario Odyssey. And I thought, oh man, could you imagine if the worlds were open world like Mario Odyssey? And basically with Mario Odyssey, I just mean like they drop you down in a kingdom and you're kind of free to go wherever you want. Like, yeah, there's a natural story progression, but you're free to like, oh, I want to capture this guy and see what I can do in this level with this guy. So that's kind of what I mean. But lately, I've been finding myself saying, like, this is such a good game, even if it isn't open world. Like, maybe this game doesn't have to be open world. So I thought about doing a video over how my opinion on open world has changed, but I thought, well, let's kind of juxtapose what Retro Bird's always talking about with these games are just filler, or, you know, again, not to put words in his mouth, you just have to go watch his videos, but just kind of, what if we look at what games have done open world perfectly, or at least close to perfect as a video game can get. So these are my opinions. If you know a game that you think has done open world really well, drop it down in the comments. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into 5 games I think did open world really great. We'll start with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, one of the latest open world games that I've played. I actually prefer the more formulaic style of Zelda games, such as Ocarina of Time or Wind Waker. I think those two will always be my 2 favorite Zelda games. However, as far as open world goes, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are really solid. And I won't go into spoilers because they're open world. I've never actually... Well, I beat Breath of the Wild. I have not beat Tears of the Kingdom, mostly because I do the shrine hunting and do all the side quests and stuff like that before I actually go and beat the game. So it'll still be a while before I beat Tears of the Kingdom. But I really like the way that they're done. So the world is devastated and you're just dropped into the middle of it, and you have to piece together the lore and history of Hyrule, and that's just really exciting to me. Now, granted, the chest and other normal exploration rewards are not that enticing to me, because a lot of the time in Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, inside the chest is going to be outfits, weapons that break, or stuff like arrows, you know, or seeds or whatever, you know, things that exhaust, I guess. So it's not actually super exciting for me. You're not looking, like, the chests aren't going to be heart pieces or something like that, or weapons that don't break, right? So the big draw to Zelda and the open world games are how they handle both the explorations and the items. They give you access to all your runes and your gliders at the start of the game. Okay, so you get the glider very early, and Breath of the Wild, I think you get it right when you leave the tutorial plateau, and you get it in Tears of the Kingdom, again, after you leave the tutorial island. And then they give you all the runes pretty early. So long gone are the days of grinding out dungeons to get your next item so that you can move on to the next section of the map. This means you can literally go anywhere you want in the game. It's just a matter of how much health and or stamina you want before you start tracking down the story beats and the boss fights. To me, that's a huge plus for an open world game. There's very few places that are actually off limits. And to keep highlighting the pros of Breath of the Wild's open worldness is it's very simple. Like, yes, there's side quests, but that doesn't feel like they're bloating the game. And yes, there's combat and random encounters, but it doesn't feel like it slows down the pace of exploration. Honestly, I didn't value or appreciate this aspect of Breath of the Wild when it came out. I felt it was super shallow and not actually a grand adventure. Juxtapose that with Wind Waker, and Wind Waker feels epic. Breath of the Wild just felt empty. But you know, I respect the way that it cuts out all the fluff that most open world games suffer from. Alright guys, we're at that time of the year, I guess, when we need to talk about Zelda remakes. So this is coming off the back of last week's video, my June predictions. Because I think everybody believes it's now or never for Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD to get ported over to the Switch. Now, I did this video probably 4 years ago, give or take. I don't really know. I should check the date, but there was a big hubbubaloo of Ocarina of Time getting remade to the Switch. And at the time, there were people saying, no, it's definitely not happening. There were people saying, yes, this is definitely happening. And those camps were divided into, is it just an HD remake, or are we just taking the 3DS port and basically porting that over without the 3D capabilities? Is it just like how we did Super Mario 64 in the All-Star Collection? Are we just getting the game? And, you know, I told you guys don't believe any of the rumors until they come out, because as it stands, it never got released for the Switch. You know, number 1 on my list was Adventures of Link, and number 2 on my list was Skyward Sword. I was saying both of those games needed attention way before Ocarina of Time got attention. So we're going to redo the list. Skyward Sword obviously got remade. That was my number 2. It is out of here. I've changed my number 1. So this list is going to be different. If you've been a long-time viewer, you watched this video a few years ago. It's going to be a little different. Some of the entries haven't changed much. Some have. So, with that in mind, my number 5 is going to be Adventures of Link. And you may be asking yourself, how did that go from number 1 suddenly to number 5? And the reason being, we're just too late in the Switch's lifespan here. I think there's not going to be a lot of new releases. We know Pokemon ZA, or however they're calling it. We know about that one. I think almost every other game, at least major game, is going to be some form of remake. With that in mind, I think if they came out in this June Direct and said, hey, our big Black Friday, holiday, Christmas release is an Adventure of Link port, that would fall so flat with consumers and investors. Now, I will say, it, maybe more than any other Zelda game, needs some form of remake, some form of quality of life improvements. I'm not saying it needs... Well, a lot of people said Ocarina of Time. I think even Miyamoto said this. Ocarina of Time was that 3D remake of Adventures of Link. And if that's the case, alright, we'll just leave it alone. Maybe it's best to just leave Adventures of Link dead. But it's actually a fun, misunderstood game. But I'm not like the most hardcore thrill seeker. So when I play it, play with save states, yada yada yada, and I actually have fun with it. But if they could bring that to the Switch with maybe a little bit of enhanced graphics, those quality of life improvements, and just tone down the difficulty a little bit, yeah, hardcore gamers would be upset. But I mean, there's only like maybe 4 people in the whole world that say Adventures of Link is their favorite Zelda game, so I think it'd be for the better of for Adventures of Link if they just brought it over with all the bells and whistles and said, here you go, now you guys can actually play and enjoy this game. I think it desperately needs help. It's the black sheep of the Zelda family, and almost nobody has played it, so I don't know. I think it needs some kind of love, or we just need to abandon it altogether. Now, number 4, this is the entry that replaces Skyward Sword, and Skyward Sword got a remake. This is where everybody, because I did not have Twilight Princess or Wind Waker HD in my video. I said I just do not believe that rumor, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I still really don't believe that rumor. It has been a rumor for, I think it predates COVID, but I could be wrong. I just don't believe it, but a lot of YouTubers are trying to sell you that dream. If it's going to get remade, this is where it's at, number 4. Now, I personally think it'd be kind of cooler to see like a Link to the Past, or yeah, I think a Link to the Past would be a good one. They're both kind of tricky. I think Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD is the bigger sell, the easier sell. Like, hey, these games were great on the Wii U. They really were. They're like the best 2 games on the Wii U. Let's just port them over so that the Switch is like this ultimate Zelda playing machine. And they could absolutely do that. And I think that's what they should do. If I'm just being honest with you guys, I think that's what they should do. I think it's what the community expects. I think those are the easiest games. If you put those 2 games together, you could probably get away with putting 70 on it. And a lot of people didn't play the Wii U. And I did. They're awesome on the Wii U. That's why I've said, like, dude, at the time, these games have just been HDified and brought over to the Wii U with quality of life improvements. They're awesome. They didn't need a remake. I still don't really think they need a Wii make. But I think out of all the Zelda games left, there's only one that's a bigger seller than those 2. So I personally would like to see a Link to the Past. I guess it got a GBA release forever ago. So it would be cool to get that one with like HD enhanced graphics and now the portability of being on the Switch and the modern day convenience, I think Link Pass would be great. But I think a safer bet, if they're going to do anything, is Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD. So, I don't think it's needed. That's why I really haven't put it on these lists. I don't even really believe the rumors. But I think there's just nothing in the chamber. They have nothing lined up. So, saying this is our Black Friday game, I think will move units. I'm just going to say that. I think it would be their most successful option. Coming in at number 3 is maybe the one I want the most. Minish Cap, guys. I love Minish Cap. You know, I did this short where I shut off the manual. I love that game so much. I said I think it could be a top 5 Zelda game. Maybe number 5. But it's got Wind Waker graphics with that old school, like Link to the Past kind of play style. I think the items in it are awesome. The dungeons in it are pretty good. The Kinstones are a fun little unique mechanic to it. And I don't know how many people have played it. I forget the stat. I had it in the other video. At the time, I said I think the GBA had sold maybe 80 million units. And the Switch up to that point had sold 50 million units. And I said soon the Switch sales will dwarf the GBA. And now the Switch has sold, last I looked, it was like over 140 units. And all that to say, I think Minish Cap is great. But I question how many Zelda fans, especially if you got in with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, or even the Wii U era, how many of you guys have played Minish Cap? Probably not that many, and it's a game that I grew up on. It was a staple for my GBA, and I kind of would love to revisit it. Now, I also went on to say that I think every GBA style game deserves to be brought over to the Switch. I really do. I think they all deserved a nice little polish and being put on the Switch, and I figured that wasn't very hard for them to do. I figured it might even be a yearly thing when we got Link's Awakening. Next year do Minish Cap. Next year do, Link to the Past. Eventually Oracle of Ages and Seasons. I don't know how hard these games are to develop since they're ports, but I thought it was going to be a yearly thing because at the end of the day, I do think Link's Awakening did pretty good. I think people were a little... excuse that. I think people were a little ajarred at first by the art style, and I think people got over it. And I think it will be remembered fondly over time. So I just thought, well, let's just do this with every Zelda game. I mean, I really thought they could put every Zelda game on the Switch, and why not? The Switch is going to end up going for, 9 years? Could have at least got a Zelda game a year, maybe. I don't know, but Minish Cap is awesome, and I'd love to see it on here. Now, I'm switching things up. Even in my heart of hearts, I don't necessarily believe this, or even necessarily want this, but I think we just gotta, again, be true to the idea that the rest of the Switch's lifespan is going to be ports and remakes, and Nintendo I argue that they kinda need a strong end of the year or even strong end of the lifespan here to keep people rallying into the Switch 2. Now, someone made the point the Wii U was an absolute disaster and look how well the Switch did. I agree with that, but imagine if all your gamers are excited going into the Switch 2. Not to mention with Sony's state of play, I think Sony's a little vulnerable right now. Their lineup, if I'm being frank, wasn't that great. If the Switch was able to really capitalize on a moment of weakness, which I guess we'll see what Microsoft does. I think they have a showcase here soon as of the recording of this. Nintendo could be the better selling console this holiday season, which would be wild because Nintendo is going to be kind of running on fumes at that point heading into the Switch 2. But number 2, I got Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. This was my number 3 last time. They moved up by virtue of Skyward Sword being released, and I was going to put them at number 1 because I feel like due to the release model of Oracle of Ages being a game and Oracle of Seasons being a game, how many people really played the complete experience? I know I did not. I think if anything, I got one and my brother got the other, if anything. But these are definitely two of the Zelda games I have lesser experience with. I don't know if I ever beat this one as a kid. It just is like not quite a fever dream. Like I remember going to Target, my mom buying this. I just don't remember really ever beating it. And kind of by that token is why I want to see it remade so bad. Like I did not play this one a lot. I definitely didn't beat it, but I remember it being so cool as a kid. I loved the handheld Zelda games at the time. I'm not sure why. We had consoles, and I definitely loved like Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker, but I just have a fondness for the handheld Zelda games. And this is the one I probably had the least experience with. Maybe even less than Zelda 2, So I would love to see Oracle of Ages and Oracle Seasons get a single package release. And that's the thing, I don't know if they would do that. Would they really be like, here's our holiday push? Oracle of Ages, $60. Oracle of Seasons, $60. Would they both be $40? I don't know how they would do it. Maybe they do like the 2-pack, like Pokemon has been doing since here of late. I don't know how they would do it. This is just a game that, I consider myself a hardcore Zelda fan. These are just hard to find, hard to get your hands on. I don't think I own them right now. They may be the only Zelda games that I do not own. I guess I don't own Minish Cap right now. I really want Minish Cap. See, these games are just hard to find. I would love to get them on the Switch. Now you can make the same argument that a lot of people did not play the 3DS ones or the DS, Spirit Tracks, and Phantom's Hourglass. A lot of people probably did not play those either. So in my mind, it's all about getting the next generation of kids to play these Zelda games and have some kind of connection to them. Because now that I think about it, Spirit Tracks and Phantom's Hourglass are definitely the two Zelda games I have the least experience with. So, it's Merry Christmas Land, but I just think all the handheld Zelda games had such a smaller install base. Like, get them on the Switch, They're the ones that need remakes more than Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time, but I just don't think they would sell as well as the two previously mentioned or number one. And at this point, you can probably guess number one. It's not going to be that big of a surprise. It was number 4 on my last list because I do want it. But again, this game has already had a remake, and that's Ocarina of Time. I know, real shocker, real upset story here. Ocarina of Time winning the Zelda game that needs to be remade. And I don't even necessarily believe it, guys. It's all about timing here. We got to get one of these Zelda games, right? They got to have Zelda as a part of their holiday release plan. That's, I guess if I had to explain it, guys, the way I look at it is like, if we're just getting remakes, we need one of those remakes to be able to carry a holiday season. And I think Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess are capable of doing that. And I think, did I say that right? Wind Waker and Twilight Princess? And I think Ocarina of Time could do it. I really do think that they maybe all they do is slap a new coat of paint like the 3DS. And maybe they do the quality of life, like having the iron boots always set so you're not having to, so that the water temple's kind of manageable, right? And maybe that's all they do, and hey, now you have the ability to play on the big screen and on the go. Obviously, with the N64, you can play on the big screen. The 3DS, you can play on the go. Now with the Switch, you can do both. Maybe that's all they do. They slap $60 on it, and they say, hey, we're releasing this alongside some other remakes, like maybe Metroid 2, or maybe Luigi's Mansion 1, or something, right? And they say, here's our holiday season. And maybe that's good enough now that you got Ocarina of Time. I just don't think it really needs the remake. I will say I did eventually want it on the Switch. Again, this is like a Nintendo fanboy, Zelda fanboy, Merry Christmas Land of having all your favorite Zelda games be playable on one console. That way I'm not having to constantly go play, other systems. But Ocarina of Time has definitely seen a lot of love. It got the Master Quest, which released it with the I guess, the Master Quest version of the game, right? It got the Zelda Collector's Edition, where that was 4 Zelda games. So Ocarina of Time got released on the GameCube twice. It also got released on the N64 twice with the Collector's Edition. And it got the 3DS remake. So there are other Zelda games that need it more, but I'm thinking strategically for Nintendo here of like, what do they have left in the chamber for the Switch's going away party? And I think Ocarina of Time HD for the Switch is probably their best bet this holiday season. Again, Twilight Princess and... I mean, if they do Twilight Princess and Wind Waker as a single bundle, then yeah, that probably would do it. But that's how I see it, guys. I would much rather have like a Minish Cap, an Oracle of Ages and Seasons, Phantom's Hourglass. I would much rather the handheld games get ported to the Switch because they actually need to be on a better console. They actually need quality of life improvements or updated graphics or the ability to play them on the big screen, right? They need that stuff. Ocarina of Time doesn't need any of that. But I am thinking from a business perspective, Nintendo kind of needs a bang this holiday season. I think they can absolutely capitalize on the fact that I don't think Sony or Microsoft are going to have a stellar lineup this holiday season. So that's my opinion, guys. In your opinion, what Zelda games need remade the most, or your predictions? What games are most likely to be released? So I still don't know if I believe the rumors for Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, or Ocarina of Time, but I think they definitely constitute a pretty strong showing this holiday season leading into the Switch 2. So thank you anybody who watched. If you're a Zelda fan, leave a comment down below. I'd love to chat with you guys. Like always, keep an eye out for polls and shorts. We're trying to do a lot of that here on the channel. You guys can actually sway and influence these top 5s. So again, thank you everybody for watching. I hope we have a great June Direct next week. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys. The Legend of Zelda has many iconic aspects and elements that make it stand out amongst other gaming franchises. And one of those elements that I want to talk about today are the items. From the Master Sword to the bow and arrows, The Legend of Zelda is littered in iconic items. But what about the items that appear in too few of games? I mean, 1, maybe 2 games max, and then we never see that item again. That's what we're talking about here today. Something I'm calling the unique items of The Legend of Zelda. And when you think about that list, the iconic, underutilized items, what do you think about? The magnetic gloves, the grip ring, or even the Pegasus boots? Heck, there's a whole generation of kids growing up right now that have never used the lens of truth. What a concept. That was an item I was hoping would appear as a rune in Tears of the Kingdom. I'm doing a top 5 video for this list, so some really good items are going to be left off, like the Gust Jar. I love the Gust Jar, but that one's not going to make the list today. While others, like the Flippers, are going to feel outdated compared to the 3D games where you can just kind of, swim already? Yeah, if you can imagine that, the hero of time used to not be able to swim. Starting off my list at number 5, we're going to be starting in the world of Wind Waker for perhaps the most unique item in all of Zelda lore, the Tingle Tuner. This item is truly locked behind the original Wind Waker on GameCube. It required connecting the GameCube with a GBA you just had lying around. When they re-released Wind Waker for the Wii U, the item was scrapped and removed in favor of the Tingle Bottle. Okay, you got me. I'm mostly joking about this being number 5, but to truly start the list, we're staying on the Great Sea. I've sung the praises of Wind Waker more than once on this channel, and this video will be no different. Several of the items found in Wind Waker could have made it. How about the grappling hook, the Wind Waker itself, or even the sail, for crying out loud? The only real knock I have about any of these items mentioned so far is that they do kind of just feel like rehashing of old items. Sure, the grappling hook is exclusive to Wind Waker as far as I know, but it's just the hook shot. The Wind Waker itself, the Ocarina of Time, and of course the Deku Leaf is kinda like the Gust Jar. However, I like the spin Wind Waker put on many of these items. The grappling hook isn't just for reaching new places, it can also be used to dig up buried treasure lost at sea. The Wind Waker literally interacts with Mother Nature, and the Deku Leaf is fantastic in the 3D space, allowing Link to glide and launch up high and do puzzle solving, I guess, the best way to say it, generically speaking. Giving Link the ability to alter the wind's course and then fly through the skies without a care in the world is part of what makes Wind Waker such a fun game to revisit. The Beetle. This is the item that actually inspired me to do this list, if you can believe that. Back when I was grinding away Skyward Sword for the first time on Switch, this item just stuck out to me. I was so pleasantly surprised with how they incorporated this new item into the game. It does a lot of things that I like. It's an item that encourages exploration through aerial navigation, I guess. It solves puzzles and can be used in combat. For those of you who skip Skyward Sword, this item is probably most akin to the pear in Wind Waker. You know how Link can put that pear on top of his head, the seagull pigeon thing will come and grab it, and now suddenly you're controlling the bird and you can pick up rupees or you can hit switches. That's basically what the beetle does. Link can become stationary as the player controls a flying beetle. This beetle can collect items, smash enemies, and interact with puzzles up high that Link couldn't possibly hope to hit. All in all, the beetle I think was a big bright spot of Skyward Sword. Let me know down below, do the rest of you guys love the beetle as much as I do? And guys, remember, if you're liking these top 5s and video game discussions we've been putting out on the channel lately, be sure to subscribe and spread the channel. It really helps us grow. Now back to the list. Coming in at number 3 is the Ocarina of Time. I may have said the beetle inspired the list, but I thought this was going to be number 1. Okay. So if you're like me, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is one of, if not the most revolutionary video game you've ever played, perfecting the transition from 2D to 3D. There's many factors at play for why it works so well. Hyrule felt like it was made for 3D exploration. The lock-on helps smooth out targeting and combat, but we cannot underestimate or understate the Ocarina's importance here. For starters, it gives the game its identity, which we'll dive into here shortly. The Ocarina plays a large role in the story of time traveling. Link needs to play the Song of Time to gain access to the Master Sword. The Ocarina also plays a pivotal role in not only accessing dungeons, but making exploration and backtracking manageable. Yeah, I like to point out that the Ocarina is a big difference in Zelda 2 versus Ocarina of Time. You know, in Zelda 2, when you die and you have to go back to the start of the game, that's frustrating, but in Ocarina of Time, if you die in, let's just say, the Fire Temple, instead of having to run all the way back up Death Mountain to get to the Fire Temple, you just sing the song and boom, you can warp back to the Fire Temple. And the Nocturne of Shadows is the only way for Link to find the Shadow Temple. Prelude of Light is invaluable for giving Link the ability to warp back to the Temple of Time, you know, as you swap back and forth between young Link and adult Link. It also is a key item in solving many of the puzzles with the Song of Time. The Sun Song can cut down on having to wait for the day-night cycle, and Epona's Song speeds up traveling by allowing you to call Epona in most places. And who can forget the iconic Scarecrow Song? Alright, coming in at number 2 is Runes. Seems Zelda games survive and thrive based on their signature items, as we talked about the Ocarina of Time and the Wind Waker, to name a few, as the rest of the game is built around that key item. We could also look at the Minish Cap, how the rest of the game is designed around the idea of Link shrinking, or another one that my brother has brought up is the Bracelet from A Link Between Worlds, the item that allows Link to shift back and forth, a 2D and 3D space. This gets us to number 2 entry on my list, the Runes. Perhaps no Zelda game was designed around it more than the Runes. Which I know, we've talked about a lot right there. Just in that list we mentioned 4 or 5 of the iconic items, and here I am saying maybe the Runes had the most impact. That could be a fun discussion. But, I mean, think about it. they wanted to break away from the Zelda formula. They wanted to give you everything you needed at the start while still giving you a sense of that iconic progression and items. And the runes are essentially what let them do that, you know? I think of Ascend is a really fun one, but Fuse or Big Hand or the cryogenic, the time stop. So many of those runes are their way of designing the shrines and interacting with the world, and part of why Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom get the reputation as being a physics engine is due to the way the game gives you the runes. And another reason I say that no item has had its impact on game design more than the runes is going back to how we were saying Zelda wanted to be open world. They wanted to ditch the Zelda formula. The runes are what gives the game so much of its flexibility. And yes, I mean, the bow and arrow and the crafting system and all this does play a part in, okay, someone can try to be stealth, like you come across a bogoblin camp and, you know, someone may do Rivali's Gale, go up high, use the bow and arrow, start shooting the barrels. Someone else may try to be stealthy. Someone else may just go in swinging with a two-handed weapon. But the runes, I think, are what gave them that comfortability in ditching the formula. I think, giving you, I think in most cases, the 4 runes, and then saying, this is how we're gonna, these are your tools to beat shrines, to solve puzzles, to make each game unique. I think the runes are what allowed Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom to be as bold and different as they are. I mean, we talk about Minish Cap being designed around, Link shrinking, but it still tries to follow the Zelda formula of progression and items. Whereas, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are truly unique in how they handled the Zelda formula. Maybe I'm overhyping the runes. You guys let me know what you think. But I think they're definitely worthy of a spot on here. If I had to pick one rune to be my favorite, not necessarily the most impactful, but Ascend is by far my favorite. It just makes exploration so much more interesting. The fact that you can go into a cave and use Ascend to shoot up to new spots of the map. I just think, in my opinion, Ascend is the coolest. But that's just my opinion. Let me know, guys, what rune is your favorite? And do you feel as strongly as I do about the runes, or am I kind of overhyping them? Let me know down below, guys. And remember, guys, we are doing top 5s. And when I do these top 5s, I put polls out on the channel. So make sure you keep an eye out for the poll, because you can vote, and it may sway where a item or topic ends up in the top 5 if the community has an outpouring for one of the entries over another. It may, make me think about it a little differently. So just keep your eye out for polls, guys. Coming in at number 1 are the transformation masks from Majora's Mask. And if you notice, a lot of these are the iconic items that each game is named around. From the Ocarina of Time, the runes, and now we're talking about the mask. And there's a reason for that. Like I've said several times already, they kind of leave the blueprint for how to build these games. And these last 2 have definitely been cheating. The runes were, 8 or 10 in one, and now the mask of Majora's Mask is, I think, 24. Of course, the transformation mask narrow it down to 4. The Deku mask, the Goron mask, the Zoro mask, and of course, the Great Deity mask. Some of the other masks can feel useful, like the bunny hood, while others feel tacked on, like the circus leader mask. The Deku, the Goron, and the Zoro mask are crafted and interwoven into the narrative, the world building, the combat, and movement that Majora's Mask just wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't feel anything like itself. It wouldn't stand apart as much from Ocarina of Time. It would still have the doom and gloom in the 3-day cycle, but getting to freely switch between the Goron, the Zoro, the Deku is definitely my favorite part of Majora's Mask. And while it's true, Link does get other useful items in this game, like his trusty hook shot, the Lens of Truth, the ocarina, the bombs, and more, the transformation mask is where the magic of Majora's Mask happens, in my opinion. And I'm not even the biggest fan of Majora's Mask. However, the masks are what makes me want to go back and replay it when I do play it. It's one of the few, if not the only times I can think where you get to play as the other species of the Zelda lore. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I really don't know if there's any other of the Zelda games where you get to play as the Zoros, the Gorons, or the Dekus. Personally, I would have loved to see a Rito mask. But I'm not sure we will ever return to Termina or the mask transformation idea again. So Rivali's Gale is probably going to be the closest we get. But at the same time, I think that's also what makes it so special. Masks were a throwaway item in Ocarina of Time. I mean, does anybody else play Majora's Mask, put the bunny hood mask on, get that speed, and then go back to Ocarina of Time and like, man, this just isn't the same. I mean, it was simply a time-wasting side quest in Ocarina of Time. In Majora's Mask, they became larger than life. Looking at you, Giant's Mask. And almost more important than the Ocarina this time around. So there you have it. Every Zelda game is going to feature one or two items that are unique to its game, or at the very least, very few games. These items always make that Zelda game feel special and unique. Sure, we will always love the Master Sword, the bow and arrow, the hookshot, the bombs, you name it. They will always be an iconic, integral part of the Zelda franchise. But every once in a while, it's good to take a step back and appreciate the items we only ever see once or twice. I know I left off plenty. I wanted to squeeze Ravio's bracelet in. I'm sure somebody, the ball and chain is their favorite item. It's bound to happen when doing top 5s covering the entirety of a lengthy franchise like Zelda. That's where I turn it over to you guys. What are the items, those unique items that are your favorite? Let me know down below and subscribe for more videos like this. Guys, I appreciate anybody who watched. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. All right, everybody. Today we're going to be dissecting or talking about this article where A.G. Enuma did an interview with IGN, and he had a couple of quotes that have kind of made their rounds. I've seen it talked about on Reddit. I've seen it talked about on Facebook and some other places. So I said, okay, let's do a video over this. And he says, well, I do think we as people have a tendency to want the things that we don't currently have, and there's a bit of grass is greener mentality. He said, and he's been working, it looks like, since maybe Ocarina of Time. And his other quote is, it's interesting when I hear people say they prefer the old entries, because I was wondering, why do you want to go back to a type of game where you're more limited or more restricted in the type of things or ways you can play? But I do understand that desire that we have for nostalgia, and so I also understand it from that aspect. And before we dive too deep into this, my daughter's playing in the room beside me, so if you hear her, just kind of pardon her. She's 1, Okay, so that's kind of the basis of what a lot of people are saying, and I went looking through comments, and what really surprised me is the people who are like, yeah, I miss old Zelda. And that kind of surprised me because, there's a lot of hype with the Game Awards and everything for Tears of the Kingdom, and Breath of the Wild was considered the golden standard for open world games. Shoot, we even just did a video maybe a week or 2 weeks ago over 5 games that did open world gaming perfectly, and Zelda Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom was in our list, So I thought it was very interesting to see people come at them and say, yeah, we're kind of tired of this open world Zelda. Now, I will say that I was very early to the not liking the new format, which may sound weird, but I'm about to kind of retell my history with Breath of the Wild and with Zelda in general, and you guys will kind of see what I have to say about it. You'll see how my opinion has changed over time, and maybe you agree with this, maybe you don't. But here's basically my story with Breath of the Wild as we talk about new Zelda or old Zelda, which was better, and moving forward, which should Zelda do? So these comments were made in regards to people apparently wanting to go back to the old formulaic Zelda. When talking about Breath of the Wild, personally, I got my Wii U the Christmas of 2013. And Zelda Breath of the Wild and Super Smash Bros. Wii U were the two main reasons I got the machine. I remember waiting years from when they announced Breath of the Wild to when it finally released. I believe it was the last first-party Nintendo game to come out for the console. This was one of my most anticipated releases of my whole life. And playing through it, it lived up to the hype. So many people back then wanted to focus on the changes as if they were negatives. No heart pieces, no traditional dungeons, and no loose linear structure. Everything had changed. And I found myself defending it. The shrines were a modern and sleek way to give the players a sense of progress, and it even granted the player freedom with how they would choose to strengthen Link. Want to survive battles easier? Go for heart containers. Want to have a smoother time traversing the wild? Fill that stamina bar up, baby. I loved the way we were piecing together the world and the lore through memories, and the Korok seeds were a collectathoner's dream. I loved my time with it. But when my time with it was through, I had no urge to replay it. And in fact, I find myself saying it's my second least favorite Zelda game, only above Zelda 2. Why is that? Truthfully, guys, the world just feels hollow. Nothing makes me want to replay or revisit it. It was a blast playing it for the first time and discovering everything, but nothing hooked me enough to make me want to replay it. Whereas Wind Waker on Wii U jumped up to maybe my second favorite Zelda. What's the difference? Wind Waker feels like an epic quest. Setting sail with nothing and watching Link become the hero he was always meant to be is just something special. Wind Waker is pretty open world too. It doesn't suffer from the hollow issues. There's always an island to explore, treasures that await, monsters to defeat. It has some of my favorite NPCs and items in the whole series. It's a massive open world that doesn't feel empty nor tedious. Which gets me to what I want to talk about today. Is Breath of the Wild really different from the rest of the series, and was that a positive shift? People act like Breath of the Wild was the first open world Zelda game. Many could argue the original Zelda was one of the first ever open world games in general, as the player can explore easily, I believe, the first 3 dungeons before you start needing items. It really does feel like most of Hyrule is available to you right from the start. The other games may be a bit stricter with progression, but most of the cities are available after you leave your hometown. I mean, think about it in Wind Waker. Very few islands are off guard or off limits from you even, like landing there, right? And in Ocarina of Time, a lot of the world is already open up to you. Not entirely in the same way that Breath of the Wild is, but a good bit of it. With really only the dungeons and heart pieces really locked behind items. I think Breath of the Wild handled open world perfectly, as I discussed in the video I was mentioning earlier. They give you a brief tutorial, all your runes, and say have fun. And boy, did we have fun. But if you're like me, the runes just weren't enough. Breath of the Wild can get teased for being called a sandbox physics engine. There can be some truth to that with the magnet and stasis. And of course, the bombs were a must-return for the franchise, as they are arguably the most iconic item in the series, and Krynos was the welcomed addition to Link's arsenal. But I found myself missing items like the Lens of Truth, the hookshot, and many others. And we knew we weren't getting them. The runes in Tears of the Kingdom are all relatively fresh ideas here. Ultra Hand is awesome, allowing Link to interact with so many objects in the game world. Fuse, admittedly, may be one that I underutilize, but as the name suggests, it grants Link the power to combine objects together. Recall, in my opinion, is the most lame one yet, but it plays nicely with the idea of Zelda being a physics engine. Ascend is easily one of my favorite Zelda power-ups in any game, and in my opinion, it's what sold me on Tears of the Kingdom as an evolution and not just a carbon copy of Breath of the Wild. It gives Link the ability to travel through surfaces to reach new heights. It's amazing for exploring and discovering new areas and locations. While I don't believe the runes are as cool as the old school items, They were definitely a nice way to break from the mold while still maintaining a semblance of the old Zelda. Some of the most fun I have playing Zelda is reaching a location that is inaccessible at the moment and thinking, man, I wonder what item gets me in here. Or, what is hiding behind that secret area? It's a great motivator to encourage players to return and re-explore areas they thought they were through with. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom still offer many puzzles that can give you that aha moment through the shrines, of which there are a lot. And I'm not one who hates on the Divine Beast, as I found myself enjoying them more than others seem to. To me, oddly enough, the issue is just that the world feels empty. The chests that you find will offer nothing special. As weapons break, you have all your items from the start, and heart pieces are gained through shrines. Meaning if you see a chest off in the distance, you know you won't find anything in there that's really worthwhile. All this is to say that yes, at its core, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are the most open world the series has ever been. But at what cost? And I think that's what I really want to focus on today. As the lands, in my opinion, just aren't worth exploring. The Korok Seeds are the only real thing here worth collecting, and they were just used to expand inventory slots. Which is good, trust me, it comes in handy. But it's hardly worth all the time it would take to track them all down. I often circle back around to Ocarina of Time or Wind Waker because I feel like they are near perfect games and they capture what it means to be on grand adventures. They are a perfect blend of open world while maintaining direction. Every action feels like it has a purpose and adds to the bigger picture. Nothing feels forced or time consuming. Everything feels like it's here for a reason. Things are fun to explore and they have rewards. That's the issue with giving you everything up front. You won't be rewarded with light arrows or magic or any of the sorts. So, how do you fix Zelda moving forward? It's a tough problem to have. By removing items and rewards, you're removing part of the fun in exploring these worlds. However, if you introduce all these things back in, you complicate the game, thus sacrificing what works about the two newest Zelda outings. I think my simplest solution is this. Find a way to blend runes with the progression items of old Zelda games. Runes will be given all at once and from the beginning like they have been the last two games, while progression items will be concentrated mostly on dungeons. Keep the shrines, but reduce the numbers. Shrines will still extend stamina, while heart pieces return to the overworld. Yes, players no longer have to choose between the two, but I mean really who cares? Video games are meant to be fun. And players can skip one or the other if they want a challenge. This is how I would fix things. It would give the open world more of a purpose while still keeping the new open world feel that the games are crafting. So essentially, guys, what it's getting at is a term I'm calling open world fallacy. Part of what makes these Zelda games work is they give you everything up front and there's nowhere off limits. And that's what's always drawn me to the new games. But it's also why I fizzle out and never put as much time into them as I should. Admittedly, I beat Breath of the Wild. I have not beat Tears of the Kingdom yet. And it's just because, like, okay, sweet. I have every relevant item right from the start. There's nowhere to explore where I'm going to find something that's going to, I don't know, make me stronger or be worth collecting other than the shrines. I mean, the shrines, I guess, are the antithesis to this argument, you know. But I think that's the issue with the games is they simplify it. They give you everything up front. It's truly how an open world game should be. There's nowhere off limits. But as a result, there's nowhere worth exploring. That's how I've always seen it. And if they want to start adding in old elements of the game, they're going to remove what these two games have built. So I call it the open world fallacy. And that's just my opinion on it, guys. I'd love to hear what y'all think. Do you want more of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom? Or do you want something new? I view Zelda as always on the cutting edge. They're always trying to reinvent Zelda. I mean, people who think Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are the same game, you can tell they haven't really played it. They're two completely different games, and Twilight Princess and Wind Waker are completely different games. So it's tough for me to imagine that the third Zelda game since Breath of the Wild is going to be exactly like these two. Zelda is always doing something to reinvent itself, you know. So I do think it'll change. I'm just not sure how moving forward. But you know, I'd love to hear what you guys think about open worlds, because I was telling Jessica, I think Tears of the Kingdom is just coming out at a time when everybody has open world fatigue. When you have an open world game, elements start to lose meaning. A lot of people who are against open world gaming want a more... I mean, they just feel like the open world removes the seriousness of the story and gives too much like flexibility, or you know, something like that. It's why I give the Fallout games credit. They probably have the most compelling story I've seen in an open world game where your decisions can affect the story. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I've talked a lot about this. I've proposed my solution, how I would design it, you know, in the future games. I would have your runes, if we're going to stick with runes, I would have runes affect shrines, and I would have progression items affect dungeons. I would bring dungeons back, you know, give us 7 dungeons, 8 dungeons, whatever you want, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there. And have your hook shot and your bombs and, you know, your hammer or arrows or whatever directly impact dungeons. And maybe you can make it where dungeons are optional if you really want that open world feel. It's like, okay, here's the Zelda game, and you don't have to do the dungeons. Maybe you can make the dungeons how you get the Master Sword. So it's like you can go fight Ganon without the Master Sword and do all this. You don't have to do the dungeons. I don't know. I trust them to figure out what they want to do next, though it seems a lot of people are reading this and thinking that formulaic Zelda is dead and that they'll never go back to that and it's all open world from here on out. But I think Zelda changes too much for us to sit here and say, yes, the next 5 Zelda games are going to be exactly like Breath of the Wild. I think we've learned that, you know, Link to the Past was groundbreaking. And then it went to 3D, you know, and Ocarina of Time was groundbreaking. And then we got Majora's Mask, and then we got Wind Waker. So it's not like they just sat there and remade Ocarina of Time 5 times. So I just don't think we're going to get Breath of the Wild 5 more times. I think they'll do something different. But anyway, that's all I have to say about it, guys. Let me know down below. Are you team new Zelda, team old Zelda? Are you team open world Zelda, or team formulaic Zelda, you know? Let me know what camp you fall into, and let me know how you would take Zelda in the next game. What direction would you take it? Would you try to evolve on the open world, everything's given to you at once formula, or would you start to implement more rigidness? You know, they say time is a circle. Would you try to go back to more like linear story where you need progression items to go through dungeons? Yeah, let me know, guys, because I feel like my favorite games are kind of, again, like Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker, where it's a mix. When I'm dropped off into the game, there's enough freedom where I can do things in the order I want, but there's still a structure to it. When I get my hook shot, I start thinking like, okay, where can I go to now that I have the hook shot? Okay, I have the bombs. Where can I go to now? Okay, I've got the arrows. Where can I go to now? I like that thought process a little more. But let me know what you guys think down below. I've talked enough. Go check out our video, Games That Did Open World Perfectly, and let us know what you think. That's going to do it for this one. We will see you in the next one. For a lot of people, video games is a way of life. And that means companies who do it really well transcend the gaming industry. They become a part of our life. Pillars of who we are. Cults, even. And perhaps no company embodies this better than Nintendo. And normally Nintendo knocks it out of the park with their franchises. But I thought it'd be interesting today to take a look at their 5 worst franchises. Nintendo normally knocks it out of the park with their first-party titles. Just look at Kid Icarus, how it revolutionized the gaming industry, spawning numerous sequels and giving us arguably the greatest video game character of all time, Pit. Ice Climbers was a juggernaut upon release, The game was considered so perfect, Nintendo decided a sequel could never live up to the hype of the original. So they have essentially retired the series. When Ice Climbers made it into Super Smash Bros., gamers around the world rejoiced. Sadly, or totally predictable, the ice climbing duos were too powerful, and as a result, they were subsequently removed from the series when Smash Bros. Returned on the Wii with Smash Bros. Brawl. So sure, Nintendo established itself as a major player in the video game market off the backs of series like Duck Hunt and Wrecking Crew, but not all of their series were a hit. Just look at Metroid. Metroid was a disaster and almost bankrupted the company, but Nintendo didn't want to give up on one of the female pioneers of gaming. Still, they couldn't justify putting her on home consoles. Thus, her sequel was given life on the lowly handheld, the Nintendo Game Boy. Metroid was given a second shot on the Super Nintendo. Another flop. Often cited as the worst release for Nintendo up at that point. Samus would be relegated to handheld consoles 2 more times. Not to mention, after the absolute butchering that was Metroid as a first-person shooter, Metroid 4 was delayed and ultimately cancelled for the best. And not a single soul complained. It just goes to show you, no matter how many times Nintendo releases an installment of a horrible franchise, true gamers do not forget past mistakes. So with that out of the way, let's look at Nintendo's 5 worst franchises. Number 2, Legend of Zelda. And what a waste of potential here. Zelda is one of those series that I keep trying to get into, man. Desperately, like, I see the potential here, guys, and it's just never worked. Sure, Zelda 1 was a total bust. If you're like me, you're surprised it even got a sequel. But here's the thing, Zelda 2? Phenomenal. Zelda 2 saved Nintendo. It helped restore faith with the general public. Despite this, Nintendo reverted back to the original formula. This contradicted all the good grace Zelda 2 built up. I'm sure you know where this is going. Then, there was the unspeakable sin, the point of no return. Ocarina of Time. Maybe the worst individual game ever released. The jump to 3D just wasn't kind to the Zelda series. A lot of games went from 2D or 16-bit era and tried to make the jump, and you can think of some of the good ones like Bubsy, who did it perfectly. Zelda 2 just tried to be ahead of its time, and the technology was not there. The jump to 3D, it wasn't kind one bit. The Z lock-on, it tried so hard to fix things, but arguably it just made it worse. Like, the thing just did not work. The time traveling mechanic really just bogged down the story and made certain parts feel bloated. It was a total train wreck that the series just has not recovered from at all. So how about that Nintendo Direct, huh? Pretty good stuff. Mind you, I haven't watched Xboxes, but I would say Nintendo, I said they had a shot to really take home this holiday season, and I think they grabbed the bulls by the horn. So we're going to talk about my 5 biggest takeaways, as well as just a little stream of conscious as random thoughts pop into my head. So, number 2, this is my favorite announcement. Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Now, this game looks phenomenal. I am a big supporter of A Link Between Worlds. Easily a top 5 Zelda game for me. It really, in my opinion, it really perfected the 2D format or formula. And when I saw this, I thought, okay, this kind of looks like one of those 3DS, like the Find Me's, And then Link got 8, Zelda got free. So we're playing as Zelda, right? And I was worried it was going to be a stealth-based game, but it's more of like a puzzle action game. And I think a lot of people were wondering, how could we go back to how could we go back to like Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword? How could we go back to that era of Zelda? let alone how could we go back to like Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, Link Between Worlds. How could we go back to that style of Zelda after Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild? I've seen so many people, I mean, people my age really do miss the 3D formulaic Zelda games, but I've seen a lot of people say, I don't want to go away from Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild because there's this, you can solve the puzzle any way you want to, right? Whereas maybe sometimes the 3D formulaic Zelda games could get in their own way of like, you have to solve the puzzle this way. This game, I think, perfectly fixes that with the tri-staff or whatever they were calling it, where she can make echoes of, pretty much everything. She can make echoes of tables, beds, enemies. No two players are going to have the same playthrough. So I feel like they really captured that Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild unique playthrough every time while putting it in the 2D environment. I cannot wait to play this. I think it's going to be Masterclass. I don't know. We'll see where it ranks as far as all-time Zelda games, but needless to say, I think this just looks phenomenal. I think they knocked it out of the park. Alright guys, Nintendo has been in the news all week with the talk of the Switch 2 getting released sometime later, probably next year, and there's talks of a Breath of the Wild remaster. Personally, I wasn't even going to touch on this. I don't find it very interesting. I just kind of assume, like, okay, that's just par for the course. I mean, at this point, what Zelda game hasn't been remastered, right? And it's been 8 years. I think it'll be 8 years by the time the Switch 2 comes out. So I wasn't even going to really touch on the topic. To me, it kind of makes sense. But I kind of want to ask you guys, since a lot of you guys are Zelda fans, are you hoping this is a Breath of the Wild remaster? Are you hoping this is a remake of a different game like Ocarina of Time, or like almost a side game, not a full $70 game, but maybe like a $20 or $30 game? Let me know down below, guys. What are you hoping the Switch 2 launches with Zelda-wise? I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace out. Nintendo has had an impressive, almost inexhaustible lineup of formidable titles and iconic characters for about as long as they've been in existence. Some stay in the spotlight annually, like Mario and Kirby, while others seem to take a while to bake, but produce great results like Animal Crossing and Legend of Zelda, while others have been dormant for decades. Today, we will take a look at every major Nintendo franchise. It's worth noting for this list, I'm going to try to limit spin-offs like the endless Mario spin-offs, or this video would probably never end. The last franchise we are talking about today is The Legend of Zelda. If I had made this video when I wanted to, the last entry would have been Tears of the Kingdom, and I would be saying we probably won't see Link or Zelda again until the next Nintendo console releases. Now, following the latest Direct, Tears of the Kingdom is still the last time we saw the duo, but we don't have to wait as long as we initially thought. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is coming out very soon, as in the end of September, which is just insane to think about following the massive gaps between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild, as well as the gap between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It will also, in no way it seems, use the Breath of the Wild engine. Let me know if you guys are excited for the change of pace release that Echoes of Wisdom looks to be, or did you want another game in the Breath of the Wild engine? Alright everybody, as you can tell, we're doing an Ocarina of Time randomizer. Okay, so Jessica's in the background. Listen to this sound effect. So dumb. No, we gotta do a random name. I like this. Let's do a random name. Alright, Jessica, get a random name generator going. Whatever, it doesn't matter how stupid it is. We're going almost fully randomized here. So, I'll entertain you guys, I guess. Well, for starters, if this is your first time on the channel, because you're looking for Ocarina of Time randomizers, welcome to the channel. We are so excited to have you here to join us. I don't know why. I was so busy getting this set up and getting the seed and everything ready that I completely forgot you have to make a name. You got something for us yet? Boy, girl, dumb, good, doesn't matter. It only comes up in dialogue, so it's not overly important.
I'm looking at a couple. What happened?
Okay.
I do want it to be.
Okay, well, you get that going, and I guess we'll just cut.
Okay. Uther.
All right, we are back with Uther, which that's gotta be Hearthstone, right?
I know, so.
Uther versus.
What I clicked was Greek mythology. Celtic.
Did I spell that right?
Yes. Celtic, and then fairy and witch. And I was like, we'll see what happens.
Oh, I forgot they cut out the cutscene. I forgot about that.
Look at your clothes.
Yeah. So the deal is, I really wanted to do a randomizer when these things dropped. Oh my gosh. But I couldn't figure out how to get them working. So I was making a guide and everything of what to do. First things to do. Yeah, go ahead and take a guess, Jessica. Oh, right. It is. We got Skull Sanity going on, which randomizes all the items and the tokens into the randomizer.
Okay.
That's. Well. Oh, we got the weird egg early. Thank you. I don't actually know how good that is, but I did not want to have to spend something random, dude. Oh, bomb shoes, because that's a bomb. That technically counts as a bomb. And hookshot. A fire temple key. So it's key sanity and skull sanity. So this is my first ever randomizer, and I was like, you know what? Let's just go for it.
Yeah, this is
oh, okay. Yeah, it's insane. But I started working on a guide, like what to do, where to go, what items unlock what, and then I just couldn't figure it out. So I was like, you know what? I'm never gonna figure this out. I'm not even gonna fool with it. And then they did update number 4, and that made it to where you could just randomly generate it over the web, and it gave you a file, and then you could just drop that into your emulator. And I was like, well, let's try it since I don't. Did I just hear it? Oh yeah, all the sounds are randomly generated too. So I just heard like a meep meep. I was like, what the heck? Okay, that
token.
might suck, might not. I don't know.
Is there an option
Look at
to
Navi.
Randomize the rupee? Like,
No, I don't think you can randomize the
I was
rupees.
gonna say it'd be funny if you could find something else or
You know how
different
insane that would be,
color
though.
rupee.
That would be too insane. I do need to collect rupees because we have the scrub salesmen. You know those guys you hit and they with your shield, like they shoot at you and then you hit your shield. They can carry significant items.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and their price is set to random. So we need to have a bunch of rupees at all times so that we can be ready to buy anything and everything those guys shoot. Anything those guys have for us. So as you can see, if you've never seen a randomizer before, golly, walking in straight lines, you just can't do it.
Is Navi different?
Yeah, that's why I said look at Navi.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
You got me saying
blue.
Navi. I say Navi.
Navi? Oh, my bad.
Navi. So, okay, there we go. That's easy. I was like, I don't know what my Z button is with this configuration. So anyway, there's a chance. Look, there's another blue coin back here. Or blue rupee. I didn't even realize that. Okay. Anyway, there's a shop here, so he may have something of importance.
Oh, he could have something different?
Yeah. So let's see what he's got for us. So there's 6 chests available to you at the start. Like, he's got bomb shoes off to the side.
I don't see a shield, though.
He's got the water temple map.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no shield. He doesn't have the shield. We can get Deku seeds. We can get arrows. Deku nuts are actually kind of tempting. Because that's a... Well, I guess that's not really a weapon per se, is it?
Alright, so what are you gonna do with the first temple without a sword?
Well, we still get one more chest. And, I think it... So, I'm not exactly sure how everything is configured. So, it'll either be something...
You don't have a way to kill those things.
Right, so this will either be something that helps us beat the dungeon, or we can move on. I can't remember. Can't remember how this randomizer is set up exactly. So I don't have the Door of Time open, and I don't have the Kakarika Gate open. But we do have the Forest Temple open. So if you didn't have the Forest Temple open, I think one of the chests will be... Like, I think you have to be able to get the sword and the shield.
Oh, okay.
I think. Because there's a logic system to it. Like, as long as you tell it, hey, make my game... Oh, there's actually 7 chests open to it. Well, let's see what this is. Ooh, iron boots. I don't even necessarily think those are too awesome, but it's like, whoa, something other than a compass.
Yeah.
And a Skulltula, like, dang,
I was gonna say, what about
oh, I can't get in here. Oh, shoot.
You can't get out now either.
I got a soft reset. There we go. Now we're back in. Got it set up. I was a little unfamiliar with the mapping terminology for RetroArch. I'll be honest. The C-pad is considered the right analog. So if you're having trouble with that, it might be something to look into. Alright, so we can leave the Kokiri Forest. It's funny, Jessica's playing this on her own. What do we get? The boomerang! The boomerang. I'm okay with that. Oh, the weird egg. We were sitting here like, what else did we get? Is the weird egg. So the way that I have mine set up is... I also have the Gerudo card thing, which I just felt like cutting that mini game out. I also turned off where I have to race to get Epona. I just didn't feel like doing that stuff. But I felt like going insane with all the randomized stuff. So I took out some of the tedious stuff and added Key Sanity and Skull Sanity. Also, what is making the frog noise? Just something in my ears going meep. It's not consistent though. It does it like once in a blue moon.
I didn't know if it was you rolling.
I wonder if it's Navi.
Like Navi.
What button is that? I guess I still don't know all the buttons. It is Navi. She just went.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, that's something. So we got the weird egg. So we can go wake up the guy.
I might get spoilers.
Nah, cause well, yeah, maybe. Like, so Jessica's playing it on her own, and she just woke up Malin's dad.
You're about to say I just woke up.
Wake up, Link. So you can go to the Temple of Time, which isn't open for me, but it'll tell you where all the stuff you have to do is. Actually, we need the weird egg to hatch. You just have to make it day and night and all that good stuff.
Oh.
So, while we're waiting on it to hatch, we got bomb shoes. But we don't have enough rupees, I don't think. We can't kill any Skulltulas. Well, yeah, we can. We got the boomerang. We got the boomerang. We do now. That is awesome. I'll take that all day. Go for it. Oh, I gotta hold that. This is gonna take... Oh, it's inverted, right? That's okay with me. So Jessica's moving the mic so that she could see a little better if you guys heard anything. Yeah. Okay, let's... This is kind of annoying. I don't want to waste my bombs for rupees. My little bomb shoe. Oh my gosh, come on, Link. You're embarrassing me in front of everybody.
I feel like that could be like a pet name. A little bomb shoe.
A pet name? Oh look,
Like,
a heart
not
piece.
necessarily- Wow.
Did you see how
Like-
weird that looked?
Like not necessarily a pet's name, but you know, a nickname. A little bomb shoe.
My little bomb shoe. I wish the boomerang would blow up. Not blow up. I
Was
wish.
full of those?
Yes.
I expected it.
Me too. I was severely disappointed when it was busting them one at a time. That's why you really don't want to get the sword too late. Like, you get the Master Sword when you become an adult.
Yeah.
I don't think it's shuffled in yet. At least I hope it's not. But there's a lot of crap you gotta do as a kid. And until you get the sword, you gotta hope to get like Deku sticks or something like that. Anyway, I watched a lot of randomizers, but that was back with like maybe 2.0. This is 4.0.
So does that little spoiler thing, will it tell you where to find the sword? I know you're not gonna look at it.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it. It
I'll look
might.
at it.
I'll let you look at it later. Jessica's got the spoiler log just in case I get stuck. Because I do actually want to beat this, you know? Alright, so it's
Or I
nighttime.
could always say.
No, you're not going to tell me wrong information. Alright, let's get this. Oh, I always got to remember, I got to hold down the boomerang. It's so natural, I think, in the N64. Oh, so that was just an actual Skulltula. Look, it's Luigi. Hello, Luigi.
Oh,
Hello. Also, I'm using RetroArch instead of Project N64 or Project 64, so I don't know. I may have to go in and try to configure the screen differently in future videos.
maybe I would put.
Well, sure, but I feel like the characters look weird. Like, Link looks really pixelated. Like, I think more than he does in the N64.
He may regardless.
He might, but he also might not. So I'm here looking for a heart piece.
Harpy.
A harpy?
That was an option to check for a random. You
Harpy?
could have a harpy name.
Oh, a harpy name. I thought you were like, why don't we just name him Harpy? Like, well, it's kind of weird. All right, what do you think this heart piece is going to be? Holy smokes. Okay.
So it was a heart piece.
Well, no, I'm
So
asking you,
what's
like,
this heart piece?
this is normally a heart piece. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, spoiler.
Oh,
Skulltula.
that's honestly what I was gonna say.
There's
Does it
so
count now?
there's so many of them. Like it really, a lot of items are going to be Skulltulas and keys. There's so many keys now. Next time we go back to Castletown, we need to stop by the shop and see what they're selling.
Aren't the bat things called keys? Like that?
Keys?
Keys. Okay.
Yeah. So if we come back at nighttime, there'll be two Skulltulas that we can get now that we got the boomerang. So I feel like it's probably beneficial to get those. Also, I guess our boomerang was the ocarina item.
Oh,
Like when you
yeah.
normally get the ocarina. I guess that's what
Oh,
the boomerang
yeah,
was
that's
instead. Dude, I'm just so excited. I never thought of... Whoa, loud car. Sir, I'm
I
recording.
definitely probably picked up that one. Sorry.
That dude had somewhere to be. Anyway, we're just gonna come out here till it's nighttime, and then we'll pop back in and grab two Skulltulas, and then we'll go to Gerudo Valley. But yeah, I really didn't think I'd get to do a randomizer, because I tried, and I was not very successful at it. And now here we are. It's crazy. Alright, now it's nighttime. Alright, what do you think these two Skulltulas are gonna be? One of them's gotta be a Skulltula, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
Like an actual Skulltula.
See, I just don't know everything that it could be.
It could be anything. I'm pretty sure this could be anything.
Heart piece.
You think it's gonna be a heart piece?
Probably not. But you said there's two?
Yeah, there's two. The two most common things it's gonna be is a key, a Skulltula, and a heart piece. This is just an actual
Skulltula.
shoot. Did that too high?
But wasn't there another one?
There will be when I go up there.
Oh.
Bump, bump it up. And once we get to 10, we'll go turn them in and see what we get from the Skulltula
So
side
that'll be
quest.
something different too.
It should be, though. I wouldn't be upset with a wallet, because we're gonna have to buy stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the items could be behind walls. Since we have Key Sanity, or not Key Sanity, but since we have Shop Sanity and the Scrubs randomized, we're gonna possibly be buying a lot of stuff. You saw that already, that the water dungeon
Yeah,
map.
that was crazy.
I'm like, oh, great. 125 rupees for that darn thing. Normally free. Okay. So what do we think this guy is? You said a heart piece, right?
Or a key.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking, let's just say key. Oh, hello. Oh, a recovery heart.
Oh, okay. I did not think about that.
As the crow hit me.
I know, so I guess that worked out.
I don't know how many recovery hearts are in the randomizer, so that'll be interesting to see. So we're gonna go ahead and cut ahead till we get to Gerudo Valley. All right, we are here, and dang it! Well, the egg hatched, but did you see the Skulltula just disappear? It was on that waterfall.
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh!
Kill that chicken!
I'm not
Kill
killing it.
that
I
chicken.
actually need it. Need it. I feel like
Chicken.
I feel like it's probably best to go ahead and just get any free items we can get. It's only scary if you've never done this before. I still remember when I figured out that this
I don't think
was a thing.
chickens can this.
You don't think they can carry the hero of time if the hero of time says, "Yo, chicken, well, we're doing this." Alright, bye, chicken. Oh, what the heck?
He said bye to you.
I got like,
Bye, Uther.
bye, Uther. Ain't nobody got time for you, Uther. So this is normally a heart piece.
Okay.
What do you think it's
Say
gonna be?
key.
You think it's gonna be? We haven't had a key in a while.
Key. And that one.
Look at that chicken.
Hey!
It was a key.
Woo!
Look at the
Oh my
chicken.
gosh.
The Gerudo training ground small. Oh, there's so many small keys. How did that even happen? The training ground has like 50 keys,
Oh, really?
which is a bit of an exaggeration, but can't be that big of an exaggeration.
Well, I mean, it helps that you're at the Gerudo Valley and you get.
It's something you do as an adult, though. So it's not. I wasn't rooting for that. That's like top 10 things I didn't want. My dog is sleeping.
I was gonna say someone's dreaming.
That sounds like Cohen. You think it's Blossom?
Yeah, it sounds close.
It does sound close, but
loud.
Cohen is the one that's always like, "Work."
I know, but sometimes his sounds like
Like-
water.
Yeah. Well, that's what that sounded like to me.
That's more tiny, peaky.
Right. Yeah, no, totally. So I'm gonna try to use this bomb chew to get into a grotto and get something nice. We could also go fishing. Try to get the heart piece. He gives you the fishing pole.
Does he on this?
I don't think that's in the randomizer.
Oh, okay.
Should we go check, or you wanna? We'll save it for next episode. I thought you were gonna say there's a next episode. Wow, shade, shade. So we're gonna use this bomb chew to try to get into this grotto.
Just look down and saw 2 eyes looking.
I mean, I could hear her like running and jumping and stuff. All right, so I don't remember exactly where this is. I think it's like right here. I hope this is how this works. Oh shoot. Well, bye. Let's try that again. And my game broke. Game. 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 Okay, that works. So I can go into first person mode, but I can't use my items. Is it because that bomb chew? This game is glitchy. Did you see how the bomb chew went through the fence?
I did, yeah.
I'm
I
worried.
was confused. I didn't know exactly what was going on.
I'm worried the game thinks the bomb chew is still there. Like the bomb chew went through the fence. So I'm worried the game thinks the bomb chew glitched and doesn't know where it is.
Oh.
Am I gonna have
That's
to?
why it won't let.
No, I said I'm worried, not that I know for sure. But I'm worried I'm gonna have to soft reset again.
Why not?
Like, if it doesn't fix itself with this change, which it didn't. The first person mode is the only one that works. It's terrible. Okay, well, let's grab this chicken at least, and then we'll soft reset. That's kind of annoying, being that close to that Skulltula and not being able to get it. Yeah. Alright, so let's do this. This is normally a heart piece. What do you think it is?
Skulltula.
Skulltula. I'm gonna go, it's an actual item. It's the hook shot right here. Ow. That's boring.
Got a rupee too.
Alright, we'll see you guys in a second. That chicken was glitched in the wall. Alright, so we're gonna cut in real quick before we head back to Castletown to see what this is. It's gonna be a Skulltula. And then we're interested in what is gonna... What did this Skulltula eat for lunch? Jessica said it was... What did you say it was?
Heartbeat.
A heart piece. So it's actually the Deku Tree dungeon map.
Which you don't even.
So useless. Alright, Link, I don't need you... Don't throw your back out, Link. No, stop it. Link. All right, we'll meet you guys back in Castletown. Well, I literally just missed the Castletown. That's great. I'm gonna start to go to Gerudo Village or Fortress or whatever, and it's gonna be daytime. It's not where we want. Look, it's already starting to get day. Knew it. The moon's got somewhere to be. Yeah. Just gotta go kill all those people. Guys, I'll be back in like 72 hours. I just gotta go kill some people and stuff, you know? Yeah, and we got the egg. So we can do this. We don't have the ocarina, so we can't go to the fairy thingamabobber. I don't know if we have enough rupees to do the Bombchu minigame, but maybe we can. It's this guy. I'm not sure. Is she even gonna let us? Can't remember how this works. 30 rupees. Why not? Oh yay, a Skulltula.
Oh.
A Skulltula.
I was hoping at least.
That was really confusing because it has my Bombchu X'd out. That's still what I gotta hit. Oh, I was hoping I wouldn't get any tough ones. I didn't want people to know how bad I was at this. You kidding me?
Oh.
Well, when I was practicing this on a different thing, I actually had it down. Now I don't remember. Where's that gonna hit? Oh, you broke my heart.
How does it do that?
Physics? I guess I didn't take physics, so I don't know. Alright, we're just gonna line it straight up. It doesn't help that. Go, get there.
Oh. How many?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It doesn't help that I can't see. No! Shoot. Well, that ain't it. Oh my gosh.
How was that?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm kind of standing at an angle. Get it. What if it's... Surely it's not using all my bomb shoes up, right?
I don't know. It still says you have 8.
That's it. No, I don't want to play again. I know, I would have freaked out if it had wasted all of mine. Okay, so... We kind of already knew that I sucked at the whole... Bombchu minigame? That was unfortunate. Yeah. You know, it was a secret to everyone. Now just everybody knows. I am trash. I was going for a Zelda reference.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. If they do this randomizer style where you can generate it over the web and do it, I may do this for more Zelda games. Like Link to the Past has one. I'm not sure if the OG Zelda has one, and Wind Waker has one. So I don't think I'm ready for... You did not see me. What in the world? I don't think I'm ready for a Wind Waker randomizer. That's pretty intense. Hello, Malin. I don't know why I kind of forgot her name there for a second. Mallow, what is that? Super Mario RPG?
Mallow cup?
Mallow Cup? Oh, the candy bar?
Yeah.
I was like, what is a Mallow Cup?
No, it's like a Reese's cup, but
No, I remember now. I remember. Well, unless you're letting the audience know. You're so sweet.
no, see them.
Only in Cracker Barrels.
Yeah.
Oh, Cracker Barrel. Where you can get bacon potato chips. Bacon chocolate potato
Not all the
chips.
time. No, you can. You used to sell those candy. But not anymore. Not even
Not
that
anymore. Well, now I'm just not interested.
brand. They like, I don't know, Cracker Barrel.
So, the songs are randomized, but we don't even have the ocarina, so... I'm not sure how this is gonna work. We'll get whatever Zelda's letter is. What in tarnations is going on here? I got Z-Lock?
Right, what? Well, one day, I was having the weirdest dream. I was in this castle, and there was like mushroom people, and there was this princess, only she was captured by this giant lizard man, and just, oh my gosh, it was the weirdest dream ever. And at the end, I got some cake. So it wasn't that bad. Though this evil lady kept using these cheat thingies on me. My gosh. Yeah, she does. And she was making my life really miserable. Almost nighttime again. Which, oh shoot, we can't do this at night. Go Link, go Link, go Link.
Hurry up.
I am trying. Come on, Link, come on. We totally got that in. Toads. We did, we got it in. No, we didn't. Oh my gosh. Well, Jessica, you decide. Do we wait till morning or do we end the episode? Oh, okay, I can't hold those. Do we end the episode or do we wait till morning? Alright, we'll end the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here, consider checking out the rest of the content. Maybe like the video, subscribe, share it with a friend. I hope you guys are enjoying this randomizer. Let me know, what was the best item I got? Was it the spirit key boss key thing? Was it the boomerang? Was it the iron boots? Let me know down below. Let me know what...
Was it the chicken?
Was it the darn weird chicken? Because that's my favorite. Anyway, we will see you guys in the next episode of Ocarina of Time Randomizer.